apologize for telling lies, for every night you stayed up and all the times you cried. Broken hearts on timelines, trapped in our confines. Love's a contract, signing blood on dotted lines. We perfect on the ground, but in person we a mess. All the filters in the world couldn't cover up this mess. We was goals to the people, but the love couldn't last. Posting pictures of the future, but we stuck in the past. We would argue every Friday, make up every Sunday, breaking up at midnight, back together Monday. Love is like a cycle, spin around on the runway, crashing every season, but taking off the same way. Say you want the truth, but you crumble when it's shown. You the type to break the windows and complain about the stones. See, I deleted all the text, but screenshots never lie. I was saying I was working, but I was really outside. I was caught up in the cycle, I can't seem to let it end. I was breaking every vow, but swearing I'll amend. I'm faithful on the ground, but a villain in the flesh. Two faces in the mirror, both toxic, both a mess.
I used to believe in you, hung on to every word you said. Thought it was me and you, but you had other plans instead. You couldn't stay true, you welcomed her into our bed. You must have lost your mind, you must be out your head, yeah. 'Cause you're a snake, you're a liar. I'll bring rain, I'll bring fire, and you won't know peace. You're a clown, you're a fool, but the joke's on you, 'cause you messed with me. I don't get hurt, no, I get even. Best believe it's heartbreak season. I'll bring rain and I'll bring fire, and you won't know peace. 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 Best believe it's heartbreak season.
The lights up, let's go, let's go. Hey, know I'm talking about, know I'm talking about, know I'm talking about. We back, Ratchet Gang. We back with another one. We back with another banger. Let's get the lights up. Look, you might have forgot. Hell, they might have forgot. But you already know it's the king. Too loyal, know I'm talking about Ratchet TV. Hey, alright, y'all already know, man. Y'all already know. Get the likes up if you in the building. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Tap that notification bell so you can get the drop whenever I drop. Alright, so boom. Man. We got to talk, Ratchet Gang. We got to chop it up. Look, tonight we got to chop it up about... Well, we got to chop it up about this interesting case out there in South Carolina. Now, I don't know if y'all heard about it. I did a poll. Yeah, I did the poll. Okay, cool. So I did a poll in the chat asking, has anybody... I'm trying to fix my damn microphone. All right, give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to fix my damn microphone. So I did a poll just to see if anybody out there has heard of this story before we even get started on it. My bad. All right, so before we even get started, have you guys heard about this? Let me know in the chat. It's the Trey Wright story. It's out of South Carolina. Crazy story that's going to kind of teach everybody kind of some stuff we already been talking about over here anyway. Not trusting people. Now, allegedly, these are some kids from school. This is all kids you're talking about here, man. From school, it's jealousy. It's envy going on. It's a boyfriend and a girlfriend. It's a girlfriend who kind of put the whole play together. Allegedly, the girlfriend put the whole play together to go ahead and line dude up. She done got so many dudes involved in this, and they all just set buddy up at a party, and he lost his life. Now all these kids is, some got charged with the M word. They got charged with the unaliving. Some people got charged with after the fact. But it was a whole plot with like 9, 10 kids damn near like a Rico of little kids, man. Like, this is some crazy stuff. I don't know if y'all have heard about it. Drop the gems if you've heard about this story. Drop the eyeballs if you don't know what the hell we talking about over here tonight. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat, man. I'm trying to get my damn level straight, but my fucking, it's like my microphone is tweaking. All right. I think we good. Hey. We should be good now. All right. I think we good. All right. Hey. There we go. All right, cool. So anyway, let me know in the chat. Have y'all heard of this story? It's a crazy ass story. It's crazy. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This is one of them cases y'all finna be like, what in the hell? What in the hell you got us watching, Ratchet? You know what? Before I get started, I'm about to restart my computer. I think that's what it is. Let me restart my damn computer. I'm gonna restart my computer real quick. So before we even get started, we're gonna go ahead and restart it because I think my audio is gonna mess up. So it's all good. We're just gonna restart the program. All right. Yep, I knew it. Restart anyway. Boom. Yep, I already knew it. Something's going on with my damn audio. So anyway, we finna fix that real quick. But anyway, I did a poll out there in the chat. The poll says, have you heard of the Trey Wright case? It looks like 87% of the people have not heard about it. So it's going to be a good story for y'all tonight. So y'all tune in. We're going to be here for a couple hours. 13% of the people say they have heard about this case. So 13% say they have. 87% say they have not. All right, cool. We restarted. So let my computer go ahead and do its thing, and we can get started on this show. All right. So, boom. Man. All right. Yeah, it is my mic, but I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what's going on with my mic. All right, hey. Yes, my mic making that noise, man. I'm going to turn my mic like that tonight because that's going to irritate the hell out of me hearing that damn sound. All right, so anyway, we're going to get started on this damn show tonight, man. So I got some videos to play, and we're going to chop it up. We're going to react to some of this stuff that's been going on with this Trey Wright case. So y'all can hear me fine without the mic, right? Let me know. Y'all can hear me fine, right? Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear me, man. I'm going to get back on it in a little bit when I start the videos. Just give me a second because I don't know. This shit tweaking right now, y'all. It's tweaking. Okay, so allegedly, and everything I say is alleged, and it's all under the Fair Use Act. And you can see the Fair Use disclaimer in the description of this video and in the description of all my videos. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes only. This is just to educate my people on what we've been covering over here. Like I said, it's all under the Fair Use Act, and you can see the Fair Use disclaimer in the description of this video. And everything I say is alleged. Allegedly, y'all. My bad. I had to restart my computer. I'm over here trying to get my programs back up and running. So we should be good. All right, my bad. We should be good. So salute. We finna get started, man. So like I said, I got some videos for us to play over here. I'm finna get my screen ready, and we finna get started. Let me know in the chat if y'all ready, man. Because it looks like a lot of people haven't heard about it, so we just finna go ahead and get started. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I just want to go ahead and get this content going. All right, hold on. Give me a second. At least. All right. So my computer's back up and running. Let me flip this damn camera around. And we finna get started on this Trey Wright case, man. So I don't know if y'all have heard about it. I asked y'all a question in the chat. I asked y'all, have y'all heard about this case? I want y'all to vote on the poll in the chat. Now, I want y'all to pay close attention to this story. I want y'all to really pay attention to this story and tell me, is this something y'all interested in on looking further into and talking about? This is a crazy story. Let's go. 9 teenagers are now charged with murder. They're accused of being part of a plot to lure a fellow teenager to a place where someone he knew was waiting with a gun. And all of this was allegedly over a girl. Right now, we know the names of 5 people who are facing charges in this story. And when we were researching the newest names to be added to the list of suspects in this case, we were shocked with what one of the teens now charged with murder had apparently posted on her social media not too long ago. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. The story has... So what do y'all think about that so far? Let me know in the chat, man. What y'all thinking about that so far? Crazy work, right? Allegedly, this shit is all over a girl. Allegedly, this is all over a female. But let's continue. It's become even bigger since our first episode on this case, which was back in June. And it involves the man you see here, Trey
Wright. He was just 16 years old. On June 24th, police say they found him with multiple gunshot wounds around 11:30 p.m. along a country road in South Carolina. Before I get to the new suspects in this case and what one of them allegedly posted on Facebook, let's get you caught up to speed on how we got to this point. This is Devon Raper. He is the man who police say fired the bullets that killed Trey Wright. Raper appeared to try to put on this bad boy persona on social media. He has a TikTok that's still public, and you can see some of the pictures like this one here, where he's flipping the bird at the camera, and he has the caption, "I wish we never met. I wish you would have stopped giving me missed signals, but can you stop? Because I'm trying to get to know your friend right now." Now, Trey, it appears, knew his alleged killer. They both...
Wait. So this is all over a female. Now pay attention to this, y'all. Listen to this again. This is all over a female.
To speed on how we got to this point. This is Devon Raper. He is the man who police say fired the bullets that killed Trey Wright. Raper appeared to try to put on this bad boy persona on social media. He has a TikTok that's still public, and you can see some of the pictures like this one here, where he's flipping the bird at the camera, and he has the caption, "I wish we never met. I wish you would have stopped giving me missed signals, but can you stop? Because I'm trying to get to know your friend right now." Now, Trey, it appears, knew his alleged killer. They both followed each other on TikTok, but they were not friends. According to police, they were reportedly at odds over a girl at the time of Trey's murder. Now, it's unclear if this is the girl that they were fighting over. Her name is Gianna Kirstenmacher, and she was reportedly Trey Wright's girlfriend. The 17-year-old is charged with orchestrating his murder. The Florence County Sheriff's Office says that Kirstenmacher knew that there was a rivalry between Trey Wright and Devon Raper, and deputies say that she drove Raper to meet Wright on the night of his murder, quote, knowing that Raper was armed and that there would be a confrontation for violence likely to lead to death based on statements made in her presence. Now, she was initially facing a charge of accessory before the fact, and she was denied bond at that time, but her charges have been upgraded. She is now facing a charge of murder in connection to the death of Trey Wright, yet she's now out of jail. She was released on bond under strict conditions.
So she's out on bond under very, very strict conditions, but they saying she orchestrated this whole entire thing. What do y'all think, man? Like, it's crazy work that she could find her way up out of this and get a bail after she just got everybody lined up and sent to jail over, you know what I'm saying, something she put together. So that's crazy work that she actually got bail, but let's continue.
Now, Raper is being held without bond. He is the one who allegedly fired the shots in this case. At his first court appearance, he tried to argue for himself in front of the judge. This is how it went down. This video per WBTW.
I did not do none of this. There was 4 more people.
I'm not here to try.
I understand that.
I'm not here to try to case, but you can speak to law enforcement and you can also.
They won't.
Before I get to the new suspect,
He said, I didn't do none of this. There's 4 more people. So he's saying, look, bro, this ain't, I didn't do this. What do y'all think about that? This is the dude that they're saying allegedly fired the shots. Now, this is my guess. Somebody went in there and made a deal before he could. Somebody already went in there and said, look, man, hey, look, you know, that dude, he did it. You know, I seen him do it. I seen him do it. So he went in there and basically, somebody went in there and basically said, they said, why is his name? Yeah, I don't know. He got a crazy ass last name. But, yeah, it looked like somebody went in there and just said he did it. I don't know if he did it or not. What do y'all think, man? They saying that this is the dude, they was at odds, and this is the man who fired them shots that ultimately ended this kid's life. Let's continue.
In this case, it's important to know that Raper was known to the criminal justice system. He was arrested in August of last year on a charge of being an accessory after the fact to felony or murder, and he was released from...
So he's already... This dude already in trouble for unaliving somebody else. Accessories after the fact. Like, it looked like the same thing in this one. So y'all kids just out there plotting and planning unalivings. What is going on in society, bro?
Important to know that Raper was known to the criminal justice system. He was arrested in August of last year on a charge of being an accessory after the fact to felony or murder, and he was released from jail in November, and then the charges were dismissed in February of this year, according to WBTW. Now, you heard Raper in that court video claiming that other people were involved in what happened, saying that there were 4 more people.
He finna snitch on everybody. He finna tell on everybody. That's what he said. He ready to tell at his arraignment court. He's snitching at arraignment. He like, man, hold on, I didn't do this. There was 4 more people. Why am I in here? So you know he finna give up the drop. I don't know if he did it or not, but he definitely finna take some people with him. Oh, that kid ain't going. He's not coming home no more. That kid finna get life. He just ruined his life forever. He's gonna ultimately go down for this, but he's gonna throw everybody else that was involved underneath the bus. They all finna go down, and a lot of these people, or not, a lot of these kids just threw their lives away. And y'all finna just get the rest of this story. But this is just crazy how kids just went and threw their whole life away, man.
That were in the vehicle with him. Now, it's unclear who he specifically is talking about, but this week, police arrested 3 more teenagers. Here are their mugshots.
Look, as soon as he snitched, 3 more people went down.
Names: Corinne Belviso, Hunter Kendall, and Sydney Kearns. All 3 are now facing charges of murder. Now, it appears Belviso and Kirstenmacher were members of the same cheerleading team at a high school in Myrtle Beach. Arrest warrants that we received from the Florence County Sheriff's Office show that these new teenagers to be added to the list of suspects are accused of bringing Raper to the scene, knowing that he was armed and knowing there would be a violent confrontation. And Trey Wright was apparently no stranger to these new suspects. And what one of the new suspects posted on social media about Trey Wright really shocked us. Here it is. We found the social media of Corinne Belviso, now facing a charge of murder. On June 25th, which is the day after Trey Wright was killed, this is what she posted on her Facebook page. It is a link to the GoFundMe page for Trey Wright saying, quote, "They've made a GoFundMe to help Trey's family. If you're able to donate, anything will help. Trey was one of my friends. We're heartbroken. To know him was to love him. LLT."
What the fuck? So this is one of the people who went down for it. She basically saying, look, man, here's a link to this dude. GoFundMe, y'all. We need help. And that's, I don't know. This is after the day after he was unalived.
That stands for Long Live Trey. That has become a battle cry for people who are remembering him, honoring him, and calling for justice after his death. Now, Belviso has a lawyer who is not holding back and saying that she's innocent. He told WPDE that his client is innocent, saying, quote, "It's really simple. She's not guilty of anything. We've hashed through the stories. She's talked with police. I'm shocked she was charged, and I will defend this case with every breath I have. She's not guilty of anything." Belviso and Kearns, 2 of the new teenagers who were just arrested and charged in this case, they have been released from jail. They were granted $20,000 bonds. Hunter Kendall was denied bond, and he is still in jail at the time of this recording. According to WPDE, in South Carolina, 4 other suspects have been arrested and charged with murder in the death of Trey Wright, which brings the number at the time of this recording to 9 people who have been charged in connection to Trey Wright's death. We have reached out to the Florence County Sheriff for the names of these new suspects and information on their arrests. At the time of this recording, they have not gotten back to us.
So look, they done got 9 kids in connection. And you gotta know, fam, all these kids finna snitch on everybody. No one's gonna get away with it. I believe more people gonna end up going down for this shit. They just keep that. No, you know, oh, well, Tony was there. Oh, well, Sandra was there. Well, shit, what's name? They called me. Susie called me. So they telling on everybody. These are kids, bro. They finna snitch on everybody. So, yeah, they all guilty and they all done threw their lives away. All of them should be gone down. They should throw them underneath the jail for doing what they did to this little boy. Let's keep it going. Hey, double tap the screen if y'all like the content, man. Double tap the screen if you enjoying this. What do y'all think about this story, though? Is this something that y'all want to continue to watch? Is this something y'all interested in? Let me know in the chat. I know this is switching it up because we be covering some crazy stuff over here. So let me know in the chat. Is this something y'all want to cover? Let's go.
Joining us now from South Carolina to talk about this case is Tyler Bailey, civil rights and criminal
murder of somebody. And they're using the fact that they assisted him. They knew that he had a weapon and he knew he was going through the altercation, but they're going to need to prove there was a tent on the front of the associates that this was going to occur, which is tough. You know, providing assistance, accessory before the fact of the crime is easier to prove than it is actually that they all participated in the murder with the intent, knowing that the accused was going to go there and he was going to commit a murder by shooting the victim who tragically lost his life. And that's a steep hurdle for the prosecution to make here.
Because Gianna Kirstenmacher, who is reportedly the girlfriend of the victim, and she was the first co-suspect with Devon Raper who was arrested, and it was believed that she was the one, according to law enforcement, who orchestrated this, knowing that the 2 of them were at odds, that Devon Raper was armed, and that she was bringing Devon Raper to meet Trey Wright, and then it ends in sadly, Trey Wright's death. And originally she was charged with accessory before the fact, and now she is facing a charge of murder. What is the...
So she was accessory before the fact. Like she put it together. Now they got her down for the exact same fate as everybody else. So they got her going down with the exact same fate as everybody else. Let's keep that a big buck. Let's go.
The difference between the two.
Accessory before the fact means that they provided assistance to the defendant or the accused here to further his ability to commit the crime. Accessory after the fact is when they provide assistance afterwards with knowledge.
Do y'all think that she should have went down? Do y'all think she should have went down for the unaliving? Do y'all think she should have went down for the unaliving? Let me know in the chat.
Accessory before the fact means that she knew that he was going to go there and he wanted to, use his firearm to engage in murder, attempted murder, or something like that, and she helped him do it by orchestrating the whole thing. Murder, which is a lot of a steeper hurdle, means that she went there and actually helped him commit the murder. It's a little difference. It's a legal distinction. I think that the sheriff, in an interview that I saw, he said that he was very methodical in speaking with the solicitor's office and investigators before upping the charges to murder for her as well. Accessory before the fact, to me, seems easier. And also something that this case could be pled down to maybe if they dismiss the murder charges later.
Because
what y'all think? Should they dismiss the unaliving charges? Should they dismiss them unaliving charges? Well, I don't know. They're saying that she might plead down to something else. She might end up pleading down to something else.
you think of some of the other people involved, and we don't know. We have arrest warrants that kind of say the same thing as Gianna Kirstenmacher's arrest warrant, where it was they knew, according to this, that Devon Raper had a gun and he was going to go to Trey Wright, and they knew that there was going to be an altercation that was going to lead to his death. And then there's also reportedly video of what happened, which that hasn't been released to the public as of yet. But in the case of Devon Raper, and he's accused of being the person who fires the shots, how much do the other cases, the 8 other people, does their case kind of hinge on Devon Raper? Because let's just say if he was able to be found not guilty in this for whatever reason, how does that impact then the other people who have been charged with murder if they're not the ones who were accused of firing the shots?
It'll be nearly impossible to charge the others with murder if the accused is acquitted at trial, or if this case is dismissed. I mean, the evidence seems to be pretty strong that, he fired a gun and he killed the victim here, but the other ones are being charged from what we can see based on the warrants right now for providing the assistance and helping orchestrate the murder.
So they saying, man, these little kids, they planned it out, bro. This was a planned out thing from all of these different children to get rid of this kid. That's crazy work, man, that your kids out there planning. Like, could you imagine? I don't want y'all to imagine, but that's crazy work to find out, like, your kid was one of 9 kids that planned out this assassination on this child, bro. Like, what the fuck are we watching?
If he's acquitted, then there's no way that his associates or his friends or whatever you want to call them, who are also charged with murder, could be charged, because the main culprit, the shooter, will be found not guilty, acquitted, or have the charges dismissed.
At the beginning, you said kind of I forget what particularly the phrase was, but when as someone who knows the law in South Carolina, how does this, and I know in a lot of ways this is unprecedented, but what are some of the similar situations you've seen where it has been a case like this has been prosecuted in the way that the Florence County prosecutors and the sheriff's office seem to be going about it?
Hands of one, hands of all typically goes like this. You'll have somebody, let's say, driving a car and there's marijuana in the car. The officers pull over the driver of the vehicle, and everybody in the car is charged with possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute or trafficking marijuana. It can also be used with gun possession, where there's a gun in the vehicle and somebody is not authorized to be carrying the gun in the vehicle, and everybody's charged with being in possession of the firearm. This is different. This right here is a murder that's committed, and they're saying the hands of the one shooter who committed the murder is sufficient to be the hands of all of his associates who helped orchestrate the murder. That's why it seems to be unprecedented, where this appears to be more of a case of providing assistance before committing the crime for the actual accused to commit the murder, who's the shooter, versus all of them being there. We don't know what all the evidence they had.
Does that make sense to y'all? Because they saying they basically charging them. I mean, it's no different from certain places just have this rule where if you can all go down for the exact same crime. If you go unalive somebody and I'm in the car with you and 3 people from the chat is in the car as well, then and we don't tell the people and we end up getting caught, then technically they can charge me and everybody else that was in that car that knew about it and they could charge you for accessory after the fact. They could charge you with before the fact, or they could just charge you with the exact same crime as everybody else. So you gotta know you gotta know your laws, man. Especially wherever you live at. You out there committing crimes and you don't really realize that by you not telling and you getting caught. Salute Capri for the $5. I appreciate you, Capri. By y'all not talking and not cooperating with the police. Now all of y'all going down for this shit. Like some of y'all getting after the fact, some getting before. And some people just getting flat out charged with the unaliving. Because some of y'all played a closer hand and they just charging you as they see fit.
It could be text messages. We could see the video. We don't know how they all assisted in committing the murder. I do think that law enforcement probably would not want to overcharge in a situation where they risk the chances of an acquittal and not being able to prosecute all of these individuals, and there's still more who could be charged. So there must have been some strong things that we, as members of the public, do not know about. And I do think I think the sheriff is looking at the public policy here and trying to curb this type of youth violence, whether it's social media, text messages, different communications, and getting or luring somebody to a place where a violent crime occurs by charging everybody with the severe charge of murder here versus something a little lighter like accessory before the fact.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely sends a message because, I mean, just on a human level, to know that all of this was allegedly over some teenage girl dispute, I mean, it's just not worth it. And you think of the lives that have been impacted. Certainly, Trey Wright was somebody who was beloved, and he lost his life. He was just 16 years old. There are some suspects who are under the age of 18, but it appears have been charged as adults. How does that?
Yep, and they also charge these kids as adults. So yeah, they didn't threw their lives away, man. They finna go straight to the pen with the they finna go straight to the pen with the monsters. They finna send these kids in there with the monsters, the roughest of the rough. I don't think they ready for this lifestyle that they finna be welcome to. So for the long part of their life, I would say some of them probably gonna die in there. But they finna have to grow up in prison. Can you imagine those little boys? What they finna, you know what I'm saying? It's fresh meat on the line. I hate to say it, but this is the truth. Y'all done took that boy life. Now you finna go up in there and you finna be somebody's prison pillow. Y'all finna go up in there and be some pillows. They finna, hey, your mama better send that damn commissary money. Hey, she better send it. They finna be taking your commissary. They finna be punking you. Man, y'all better PC up. Y'all boys better PC up, because what they finna do to y'all when y'all get in jail, and the women too. Them studs coming. They coming. They finna straight manhandle something. But hey, that's a story for another day. Good luck in there, y'all.
18-year-old died after a shooting at a party in Harriman, Tennessee over the weekend. According to reports, at around 4:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, Harriman Police Department were called to the Mr. Clean Detailing and Window Tinting business location that was in Harriman, and that was where 18-year-old Holden House had been shot in the head during a party. He was reportedly transported to a local hospital, but unfortunately he died. He had just celebrated his 18th birthday 2 weeks ago. It was said that his friends who were at the party watched Holden's last moments, and he died and bled out and went lifeless in the arms of one of his best friends. So awful. Reportedly, several people at the party tried to do chest compressions on him before the ambulance arrived. After the shooting, it was said some young people left the party while others stayed to talk and answer questions from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
See, now this is, how many stories are we dealing with right now that got these people being set up by other kids? And this is nothing but kids is what I'm trying to show y'all, man. Nothing but kids. So what the hell is going on in society that makes all of these kids commit these crimes?
Teenagers now face charges in the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright. This happened in Florence County, South Carolina back in June, but it's just now heating up because more and more of these kids are being arrested. Here are 7 of these teenagers. Let's get into the details. Trey lived in Scranton, South Carolina, and was a sophomore at Johnsonville High School, where he played football and baseball. He also loved anything in the outdoors and loved going hunting. This is 19-year-old Devon Raper, and according to police, he is the one who actually pulled the trigger, so he obviously faces murder charges. So authorities say that this entire altercation was over a girl. This girl, Gianna, she was Trey's girlfriend. They also state that this entire thing was caught on video, but we obviously cannot play that here. Gianna is 17 years old, and she is facing accessory before the fact charge. This is a felony. Authorities say that Gianna was actually the one that drove Raper to the location where Trey was killed. There were others in the car, but she was certainly the driver. The following teenagers also face murder charges in this case: Hunter Kendall, Sydney Cairns, and Corinne Belviso. Ironically, the day after Trey was murdered, Corinne here.
Man. And you see, that's that girl that they ended up charging with the unalive, and that's the girl who went and posted on the social media. So after y'all done plotted and planned on how to get this boy over here and lured this little boy over there, all of a sudden you posting this GoFundMe on social media. What the hell is wrong with some of you? And these kids are sick.
A teenage love triangle turned deadly. 16-year-old Trey Wright was lured by his girlfriend to a remote South Carolina road. Not for romance, but for confrontation. Trey's girlfriend, 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher, led him to First Neck Road, where 19-year-old Devon Raper, his rival, waited. And he was armed. On that rural stretch, words flew, then gunfire. Trey collapsed, struck by multiple bullets. The entire encounter was captured on video. Instead of helping, teens pulled out their phones. Investigators say 9 were involved. Some filming, others accused of luring Trey into the trap. 9 teens were charged. Raper with murder, Kistenmacher as an accessory before the fact, others with conspiracy and accessory charges. Under South Carolina's law, each teen could face adult charges. Trey Wright is gone, and justice is only beginning.
Man, they finna make an example out of these kids. Mark my words, they finna make an example out of these kids. They charging them all as adults, and you see old girl, her actual charges have been upgraded. Hers right here, this was the girlfriend who lured him over there and decided to pick him up and take him to where he lost his life. They ended up charging her with the unaliving as well.
There are a few new details regarding the teen from South Carolina who was shot and killed several weeks back, and it was allegedly over a girl. According to reports, deputies have charged additional people, and that's in connection to the murder of 16-year-old Trey Dean Wright, who is pictured here in the middle. He was from Johnsonville. He was murdered in June. This is all according to a judge in Florence County. Trey was discovered lying in the roadway with several gunshot wounds, and it was said he was shot 2 times in his lower chest. The shooting reportedly took place on North First Neck Road, which is in the Johnsonville community. Now, reportedly this week, 5 more people have been charged in connection to Trey's murder. The names and specific charges for these people have not yet been released, though. I don't know if that's because they're minors or what. I have no clue. Now, 19-year-old Devon Raper here of Conway, he's on the left. He was initially arrested in June. After the shooting, he was charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime that was due to the murder of Trey. Devon allegedly shot Trey after a verbal altercation, and it involved this girl on the right, 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher. She is reportedly from Myrtle Beach, and she was also charged with accessory before the fact of a felony, and that was in connection to the death of Trey, the shooting death. I'm hearing that Trey and Gianna were dating at the time of the murder. She was allegedly out somewhere that night with Devon, the suspect, and...
Yep. So she was out creeping with his ops. And that's the crazy part about it. She already knew that they had smoke. And this dude was trying to get over this chick. She out there creeping with the dude. She, you know what I'm saying? She out there creeping with the dude. Meanwhile, she going out with this kid. And they don't like each other. But the whole reason they don't like each other is because of you. And you still playing games with both of them. So you didn't got into his head. Now he want to unalive him. You didn't got into his head. And now he don't like him. Now when they see each other, something happened and something transpired. But it's all behind you. Then weapons get pulled out. But you already knew this was going to happen. Because you knew you was taking him over there. You knew he was armed. And you knew he wanted to unalive this boy. And you did it anyway. You just decided, all right, cool. You pulled up. Whatever happened, now you want to play victim. Nah, you just as guilty as him. I'm glad they charged you with the unaliving.
Trey, he was one of a kind, and I don't think this situation should have happened at all. to Trey. And I really just went over there to try and tell him that everything's going to be okay because he was trying to talk. And where he had got shot, his lungs were filling with blood. From all of this, a lot of these kids nowadays try and play them little thug or gangster roles. It's not worth it. My brother lost his life, but those kids also lost the rest of their lives.
Yeah, so it ain't just that. It ain't just. I mean, unfortunately, this kid did lose his life, but all those kids lost their life. It ain't just Trey. You know, he definitely paid the ultimate prize. You know, he can't ever come back, or it's over for him. I mean, it's over for all of them. If you want to be honest, though, they met the same fate as him. Only difference is he's just not here in the flesh. But their lives are over. They're not going to get to experience any normal life. They're not going to get to grow up and do nothing. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you'll get out one day. I doubt y'all get out anytime soon. I don't think anybody gets out earlier than 25. I think everybody gets over 25 years in this case. All of y'all are going to get over 25. And I think they're going to throw football numbers at a few of y'all. So, yeah, good luck with life. But, I mean, and the families all lost their lives. These parents got to deal with this. So, and Trey's parents. This is just sad, bro. All of them are kids.
He was just 16 years old, a high school athlete with his whole life ahead of him. This is the tragic story of Trey Dean Wright. June 24th, 2025. Trey was found shot multiple times near Johnsonville, South Carolina. It wasn't a random act. It was the deadly climax of a twisted love triangle. Gianna Helene Kistenmacher, his 17-year-old girlfriend, didn't just watch it happen. She allegedly helped plan it. Police say she brought the shooter, Devon Scott Raper, to the scene knowing he was armed and ready. Raper, 19, pulled the trigger. But he wasn't alone. At least 9 teens, some just 16 or 17, were involved in the setup. Some charged with murder, others as accessories. Friends turned conspirators, wrapped up in jealousy, rage, and betrayal. Some even recorded the shooting on video. South Carolina law is clear: if you're involved, you're just as guilty. Trey's family is left shattered. A bright young life stolen. This case shows how far jealousy and anger can go.
Yep, that's crazy, man. Jealousy and anger all in kids, but I wonder how they grew up. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, was they Grand Theft Auto up? I wonder, was that a bunch of Grand Theft Auto going on in that house? And like, a lot of people don't think about the video game aspect of things. I know this sounds like making it like the scapegoat or whatever, but if you be honest, man, the music ties a big part to frequencies. You got to be, I mean, I know you're going to be like, my kids going to do what they're going to do anyway, but I mean, you got to get some control at some point. Your kids should not be listening to NBA Youngboy and Playboy Cardi. That stuff is so demonic. So they already on a different frequency because their vibration is thrown off because they're listening to a bunch of satanic music. And then they're playing a bunch of games that, kind of make you start thinking like ops came from Black Ops. All they Call of Duty. Now kids love shooting. Grand Theft Auto. Now they love starting gangs and starting crews and going around unaliving people. Like, you watch ATK play Grand Theft Auto, but then they go play Grand Theft Auto in real life. You know what I'm saying? Stealing cars, getting stolos, and like they're doing the same thing they're watching in video games. Let's continue though.
Y'all, so let's talk about the lack of class, remorse, and empathy. This picture was sent to me, and this is in regards to the Trey Wright case out of Johnsonville, South Carolina. I've talked about this case multiple times, but in a nutshell, 16-year-old Trey Dean Wright was shot and killed by 19-year-old Devon Raper a few weeks ago, and it was over a girl who was allegedly playing both of them, a teenage love triangle. Her name was Gianna Kistenmacher. Now, since Trey's murder, 9 teens have been arrested in connection to his death, and that was due to them knowing that Devon, the suspect, had a gun, but nothing was done to stop him. And some even took Devon to where Trey was, knowing, like I said, he had that gun and that he had threatened to shoot him in the past.
Salute to Chocolate Queen for that $20. I appreciate you, Chocolate Queen. Salute, salute, salute.
Kind of like guilty by association in a way. So anyway, I just wanted to share this picture with you today. These two boys are two of the teen suspects who were arrested in connection to Trey's murder. This is 18-year-old Jaden Auclair and 17-year-old Braylon Thompson, and they are now facing murder charges. According to reports and what I'm hearing, and well, it's true because the picture is proof, these two boys, suspects, posted pictures of themselves outside of the Florence County Detention Center, and that was right after they were released on bond. Now keep in mind, a young man that they had known was just shot and killed. They are suspects, yet they had the nerve to post a pic trying to act all cool in front of the jail that they were in for the murder of a guy they knew. The absolute audacity is at an all-time high, you hear me? Now let me just say, I'm not sure who posted this picture. I don't know if it was one of them or neither of them or both of them or a third party. But all I know is they did indeed pose in front of the jail like this with smiles on their faces after they were just locked up for the murder of a young man. Trey's loved ones were indeed hurt to see they posted something like this, and rightfully so. It was on Snapchat, of course. His loved ones also wished that the suspect's bond conditions were stricter. Now, reportedly, the 12th Circuit Deputy Solicitor named Todd Tucker said that his office did indeed receive a call in reference to the social media post.
Salute to Jelly Bean for the $5. Jelly Bean said not much, but just showing support. Hey, that's a lot to me. I appreciate it, Jelly Bean. Thank you for the 5. Salute.
Pictures of Jaden and Braylon here. He said that Ryan White, who is actually the prosecutor assigned to the case, then immediately filed a motion to modify bond conditions. This was to prevent any future social media posts, particularly with these two boys. It was said that the original bond didn't really say anything about posting on social media. Well, probably because you would think they would have the decency not to do that. You know what this picture is? It's a big screw you and spit in the face to Trey's loved ones. You're out here living your life now while Trey can't do that. Trey will never be able to take another picture ever again. Kids are losing their lives these days like it's nothing. And then you see teens acting like this after a teen loses his life, and they just want to be cool and try to flex. Where in the world did home training go? Where are these kids' parents? I would think that a parent had to go bond them out of jail and then drive them home. Wouldn't you think that the parents would have seen them take such a lame and tasteless picture in front of the jail? Wouldn't you think they would have tried to stop them and tell them that it's not right and tasteless? Shame on you two boys and of course your parents or guardians. It's giving cocky and arrogant, and I think I'm gonna get out of this, but I bet you won't. Parents lack morals in this case too, especially Devon, the suspect's mom, setting up a GoFundMe for the killer. I've never in my life. Anyway, I just thought this was unreal and I wanted to share. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. For more true crime, be sure to follow and subscribe if you're over on YouTube.
They said they didn't them people didn't start a GoFundMe for the unaliver. So they said, look, we coming home, baby. Like, they really think they finna beat this case. Man, boy, y'all finna be
Police reports
y'all finna be up out of there.
Shed new light on what happened in the night this 16-year-old Johnsonville boy was murdered.
News 13, Shelby Martin spoke with the best friend of Trey Wright, who rushed to him that night. She joins us live now from the newsroom. And Shelby, what did he tell you?
Disbelief. That was the word 18-year-old Ethan Kirby used to describe what he felt on June 24th, the night his best friend Trey was murdered. Police reports say officers found the 16-year-old lying on the road near a friend's home with 2 gunshot wounds to the chest. He was surrounded by a group of people, many of them screaming. 19-year-old Devon Raper is accused of shooting and killing Trey, and Trey's then-girlfriend, 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher, is accused of leading Raper to the scene. The heavily redacted police reports say Raper left the scene in a white Mazda with a female driver and 3 other male passengers. Kirby says he saw Raper wearing a ski mask and holding a gun. Witnesses close to Trey confirmed Kistenmacher was the one behind the wheel that night. Police also arrested 18-year-old Corinne Belviso, 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, 18-year-old Jaden Auclair, and 17-year-old Braylon Thompson. Now, according to witnesses and reports, there was a confrontation between Raper and Trey over a girl and provocative messages exchanged over Snapchat. The witnesses confirm that girl was Kistenmacher. Authorities say the shooting was, quote, a result of a planned confrontation that escalated into violence. Kirby says he saw Belviso recording the incident, something her lawyer confirmed to News 13. Now, according to Kirby and their arrest warrants, Belviso, Kearns, and Kendall knew Raper was armed and had made threats to shoot Trey.
It turned into something that was more serious than it should have been. The rest of them were just kind of antagonizers, pushing it and thinking it was funny, and a whole lot of peer pressure.
Police described the scene as chaotic and emotional. According to arrest reports, authorities found Raper at the Country Inn and Suites in Myrtle Beach on June 25th.
So that little boy didn't try to go to a motel and shit. Like, where are y'all parents at that y'all doing this crazy ass shit? Where the hell is the parents?
Hey everybody, Cast coming at you. Major update here in the Trey Wright case of the 16-year-old who was shot in Florence County, South Carolina. This comes from Jazzy, Trey, was at her house. And she wrote on our page, Trey was at my house, which is down the road, a place that he called home, and they drove over an hour from the beach to come to my house and apparently fight Trey. He was not lured there. That's good information to know. And he was already there, and those people drove to come and take his life. So that's an update that I had not heard yet, and if I did, I missed it, and I apologize. Jazzy, thank you very much for pointing this out to us, and we will update this in our articles online at crimecast.com. So for the record, Trey Wright, according to Jazzy, was not lured to First Neck Road, that he was already there at her house, and the alleged unalivers, and there's 9 kids who have been arrested. 9, I think, Jonah and 10 soon, have been arrested in this case. It's an awful mess, and I still don't understand kids today and why they're doing this, but this is an update in the Trey Wright case, Florence, South Carolina, where the 16-year-old was shot, allegedly by a 19-year-old out of Conway, South Carolina, that came to Jazzy's house to get in a fight with Trey over Trey's girlfriend, allegedly, and unfortunately took Trey's life. Jazzy, thank you. I pray for you and Trey's family for this tragedy. This is absolutely awful. I'll keep on this, and thank you again for correcting me in reporting. I appreciate it. Crimecast, Scott.
So allegedly, he was not lured to that spot. He was over his friend's house, a place he called home, and they was pulling up to fight him, but the whole plan was to go ahead and unalive him. They didn't have a plan to go fight him. They knew they was going over there, and he said he was going to shoot this boy, allegedly.
You know, y'all, it's really sad to think that shortly after this picture was taken, one of these young men shot the other. So there are reportedly new updates and some more details that are new that are coming out about the Trey Wright case out of South Carolina. I've shared several videos about this case, but 16-year-old Trey Wright, who is pictured here on the left, was shot and killed a few weeks ago by Devon Raper. He's 19 years old, and he's pictured on the right. It was over a girl, a silly teenage love triangle, a girl who was playing both boys, and she allegedly set Trey, the victim, up. Her name is Gianna Kissenmacher. Anyway, new details are coming out that give us a little bit of a better idea of exactly what happened that night in Johnsonville when Trey was shot. According to reports, Devon fled the scene of the shooting in a vehicle that was driven by a girl, but it had multiple boys inside of it. That leads me to think this is why all these teens are getting arrested in connection to this case, because there were several in that getaway vehicle that knew Devon had just killed someone, and they didn't turn him in or anything. Trey was fatally shot in the chest on the night of June 24th. It was said that the responding deputy arrived on the scene at around 11:40 p.m. to find Trey lying in the middle of the road, and several others were around him just screaming. He reportedly had 2 close-range gunshots to his chest. Witnesses told the deputy that Devon, the killer, fled the scene in a white Mazda SUV that was being driven by a female with 3 male passengers. Now, I'm hearing that the girl who was driving this vehicle was Sydney Kearns. The deputy then found out that the altercation between Trey and Devon was over a girlfriend, and a series of alleged provocative messages that were sent on the app Snapchat. Of course, it's Snapchat.
Thank you, Angie, for the $5 salute to Angie. I appreciate you. And a lot of y'all be forgetting. I be trying to give y'all game on this. Just because you send something on Snapchat and you think it disappears, those messages are there forever. You just can't have access to them no more. But there's a whole cloud of your messages, no matter if you put it in vanish mode on Instagram, no matter if you put it in vanish mode on Snapchat, no matter if you think you're sending a private message, nothing is private. All they got to do is go subpoena Snapchat, and Snapchat has a cloud of all your information in there, invisible or not. It's just invisible to y'all now. Goofy. It ain't invisible to anyone else. If they really want this invisible message, they can just go subpoena them and go grab all of your hidden messages. It's easy to do. They got their own network that can do it, and if they don't, they can reach out to the people. They can subpoena you, and if you don't want to do it, then we'll go do it ourselves. Don't even worry about it. We got it ourselves. So they can just go in there and get your shit. But if you look at the terms and conditions before you sign up for an app, it's going to tell you that basically they work side by side with law enforcement, and they will give your information over. Matter of fact, we're recording you anyway, just in case. So y'all not even reading the stuff. If you really read the terms and conditions, you wouldn't sign up for any of this shit. But if you want to be on social media, they basically tell you, we can do whatever we want with your shit. So you just be careful on this motherfucker. If I was you, I wouldn't be doing no illegal stuff, because we will turn your ass in. That's basically what they're saying.
One of the witnesses who was at the scene told the deputy that Trey approached and went up to the Mazda, and he started to bang on the door before the door was then opened. And it was at that point that shots were fired at him. Other witnesses reportedly gave the same story and stated that they thought the people in the Mazda vehicle were indeed armed. It was said that other teen witnesses gave similar versions of the events that happened that night, and they all said that the altercation occurred quickly and unexpectedly. According to reports, the deputy also saw a white Chevrolet Malibu with a flat tire at the scene, and it was later determined that this car had been shot during the shooting. Police said as the investigation continued, it was very clear that the incident was indeed a result of a planned confrontation that turned into violence, a shooting. They also said that alcohol and previous altercations between the parties were contributing factors as well. Reportedly, 2 shotguns were also recovered at the scene, but none of the teen witnesses would tell deputies how or why they were used. It was said that one of those guns was located near the road and looked to have been shot 3 times, and then there was an unfired round about 50 yards away from it.
So they had more guns on this boy. They was going out there to unalive this boy, and the fact that they let these girls basically set them up to do this ish. I can't believe that these kids went out there and basically ambushed, and he stood no chance. They had multiple weapons. These were kids with multiple weapons, but it was supposed to be a fight. They were supposed to catch the fade. They were supposed to go ahead and just fight it out, but this kid wasn't finna get into no fight. He came to unalive him, and they prepped everyone to go over there to get rid of this boy, and they did it.
Then there was another shotgun that was leaning against a tree that was about 80 yards from the road. Warrant said that several of the teen, including Gianna, which was Trey's girlfriend, and Corrine knew Devon was indeed armed, and that he even made threats to shoot Trey before the actual shooting. But they did nothing. Absolute shame on them. I read that Corrine's lawyer is claiming she is innocent and that she is one of the ones that captured the shooting on video. Her attorney further said she's tiny and quiet and humble, and that she had nothing to do with the shooting. She didn't promote it and had nothing to do with it happening. I have not heard of any other statements from other attorneys, if they even have attorneys. I'm sure they do. Trey's family has since said it's not fair what happened, that some of these teenagers are, well, all but Devon, I believe, are now out, while they don't have Trey anymore, and I agree. I will continue to give details and updates about this case as they become available, so make sure to follow. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe.
Man. This is crazy work, man. How these kids plotted and planned to get rid of this boy and just left it. And then they're gonna try to act like they feeling sorry for him. Man, come on, man. Y'all don't feel sorry for that kid. Y'all done set the boy up.
Every day we hear about love triangles gone wrong. This one's arguing with that one's arguing with this one. And in the center of the love triangle is usually someone very happy that someone is fighting over them. However, what happens when a love triangle turns deadly? And not 1, not 2, but 10 teenagers are arrested for having some type of involvement in the murder of a 16-year-old child. Let's find out right now. Anne-Marie, a.k.a. the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrico, Louisiana, Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope after this video that you like, subscribe, and comment, and don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss a video from From me, Anne Marie, I hope you have a beverage. I hope you have a snuggle partner or a snuggle fur partner. Those are the best. First thing in the morning, get those endorphins up. Today, we are going to be discussing a case that happened less than 2 months ago. This past June, to be in fact, in South Carolina, when a 16-year-old boy lost his life, apparently over a girl. Yes. Trey Dean Wright was born October 9th, 2008 in Hartsville, South Carolina. He was a loving and sweet child. He was a sophomore and he was a varsity athlete playing both baseball and football. He loved riding dirt bikes, he loved spending time in nature, but mostly he loved making people laugh and smile. When I looked up Trey's social media, especially his TikTok, I learned that he was a typical teenager. He loved having fun, he loved posting videos, and he definitely loved to make people smile.
Make sure y'all vote on that poll. Let me know in the chat if y'all heard of this case. And also, double tap that screen and get the likes up, man. We should be past 400 likes. Let's go, y'all. Double tap that screen.
It was said that 16-year-old Trey Wright was dating 17-year-old Gianna Christemacher. And on the night of June 24th, 2025, Gianna and Trey were at two separate places. And it was said that Gianna, Trey's girlfriend, was with 19-year-old Devon Raper, who at only 19 years old was no stranger to the law. In August of 2024, 18-year-old Devon Raper was arrested for accessory after the fact to a felony and accessory after the fact to a felony murder. However, he was released from jail in November of 2024 and all charges against Devon were dropped in February of 2025. Just before midnight on June 24th, 2025.
Another case of if they just would have did their damn job, they wouldn't have to worry about this. Now now he was accessory after the fact already to an unaliving and then ended up unaliving somebody as soon as the charges get dropped.
It was said that Trey Wright found out that his girlfriend Gianna was with 19-year-old Devon, and as he should be, he was upset. Supposedly, Gianna led Devon to where Trey was going to be. I'm sure the boys were going to fight. They were going to duke it out. This has been happening for hundreds and hundreds of years. The two boys fight. Whoever wins the fight gets the girl, and everybody moves on with their life. However, what you don't really hear about is the girl luring the guy to the other guy. You don't really hear about that. But supposedly this is what happened. And if this is what happened, shame on Gianna. Because what you normally hear about is, you know, you go to a party with a guy and the other guy's friend is there and calls his friend and says, hey, I'm at this party and your girl's here with another guy. The boyfriend comes, confronts everybody, they get in a fight and everybody moves on. You also hear about you're at a restaurant with this new guy, your boyfriend comes in, he sees y'all, and he confronts both of y'all, they get in a fight. I mean, you hear about stuff like that all the time. You really don't hear about the girl luring the guy to the other guy.
You kind of do hear about that stuff, and not only that, you hear about a lot of other crazy stuff that it's like a lot of women do this shit too, and they'll cheat and then put themselves in a situation to where the other person acts a weird ass way, and then you can't control how nobody else's actions are. Like I was looking at something on X one time, and a dude it's always somebody filming something too. There was someone filming outside of like a restaurant. A dude was confronting his girl because she was with another guy, and the dude ends up. I mean, it's on X, so obviously this type of stuff goes over there. He pulls a strap out and hits the dude in the head with it, so he is red stuff everywhere. I'm trying to be PG. There's red stuff everywhere. Then she's screaming. She's going to the other dude on the ground, and she's like, why would you do that? She's crying for the dude on the ground who she got caught cheating with. So then the dude's like, fuck it, and he just puts the whoop-de-whoop to his own head and takes himself out. And so now she's just sitting there going crazy. She not saying, I mean, but technically, like, you put that man in that position. Now he didn't lost his damn mind, and now two people are gone, and your life is over, their lives are over, their family. So you got to be careful of what position you put other people in too as well. It's about accountability on all parts. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know how someone else is going to react to a situation. You just never know, bro.
That's kind of strange and weird to me, but who knows? I don't know about y'all, but if I was in that situation and I got caught, And I'm just gonna throw my hands up in the air and be like, look, I'm gonna skedaddle real quick because I'm already in enough trouble. I effed up. If y'all two want to duke it out, if y'all two want to fight, I'm out. I mean, I already caused this and I'm not gonna be in the middle of any more drama. But supposedly that is what happened. Gianna led Devon to where Trey was going to be. And according to people, 19-year-old Devon decided to take out a firearm and began firing shots at 16-year-old Trey Wright, ending the life of Trey. Trey was found in the middle of the road with several gunshot wounds. 16-year-old Trey was pronounced deceased. Could you imagine being Trey's parents? Could you imagine opening up the door to find out that not only was your child killed, but they were murdered? They were murdered. I could not imagine being Trey's parents, being his family, his grandparents. I could not imagine. As y'all know, I have teenagers, and I don't even want to know what Trey's parents are going through at this time. My heart and my prayers are with all of you.
The very next day, on June 25th, 2025, 19-year-old Devon Scott Raper was arrested and charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Next, 17-year-old Gianna Helen Christenmacher, the girlfriend of Trey Wright, is arrested and charged as an accessory before the fact, accused of luring Trey to the confrontation. In early July, others were arrested: 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, 18-year-old Corinne Belviso, and 17-year-old Sydney Kearns. On August 6th through 8th, warrants revealed 2 more teens charged with murder: Jaden Allclair, 17, and Braylon Thompson, 17. Then later this month, 2 unnamed juveniles, both 16, are charged, and as of a few days ago, it is being said another suspect may have been charged as well. So that makes 9, maybe 10 people who may have been involved in the murder of 16-year-old Trey Dean Wright. Now, I know some of them have been released and are out on bond. However, these teens are facing decades behind bars if they are convicted of murder. This entire situation is extremely sad for the Wright family.
As I was researching this case, I found something extremely disturbing. I found a social media post made by one of the individuals that was arrested involving Trey Wright's murder. And it reads,
"They made a GoFundMe to help Trey's family. If you are able to donate, anything will help. Trey was one of my friends. We are heartbroken. To know him was to love him. Long live Trey."
The social media post was made by 18-year-old Corinne Belviso. Now, if Corinne was Trey's friend, why was she arrested? And what was the reasoning? What did Corinne know? What did she do? What did she see? What was her involvement? And was there any involvement?
Allegedly, I do believe that's the one that filmed it. If I'm not mistaken, that's the girl who filmed the crime. I do believe that's the girl that filmed it. And obviously, you didn't turn the video over to police. So you had a video of her unaliving in your phone, if I'm not mistaken. I know one of the girls did film it. I believe it was her. I believe she's the one who filmed it in her phone. So you already had a video of a crime in your phone, and you did not turn that over to police. So that's why you got charged with this. And you put out the GoFundMe, knowing, you talking about the family got a GoFundMe. Why don't you send that video to the family so they know exactly what happened? Why don't you turn that video over to the police if that's really your friend? So yeah, take your ass to jail too.
Did she get arrested by mistake? What we do know is, as of now, she has since been released and is out on bond. As I was researching the case, I did find that Trey and Devon did in fact know each other. I don't know why Devon would be hanging around 16-year-olds, but who knows? As I looked through Devon's TikTok, I did notice that he was often posting. He was posting quotes. He was posing, he was showing his vehicle, it was said he was a father. So there are several different posts that I did see about Devon where Trey's posts were dancing, having fun, laughing, cutting up. He was a typical teenager. I also heard tons and tons of rumors. I heard that people knew Devon was in the possession of a firearm. I heard that it took a very long time to get to where Trey was, so they had time to rethink everything over. I heard that Devon knew Trey wanted to fight, and he knew that Trey was going to win the fight, so that's why he had a firearm. I heard that Devon made threats to Trey. There are so many rumors out there, it's ridiculous. We don't know what went on. We don't know what happened. But from the outside looking in my opinion, this does look like a premeditated murder. I do believe Devon knew something was going to go down. I do believe he had time to change his mind if he did in fact murder 16-year-old Trey Wright. This situation is heartbreaking. This case is extremely heartbreaking. My heart goes out to the Wright family. Y'all are in my thoughts and prayers every single day. My final thought, I always give y'all my final thought. And my final thought is, this case should have never happened. A 16-year-old boy did not have to lose his life. And apparently over a girl, there are so many fish in the sea. And 19-year-old Devon, what is a 19-year-old doing walking around with a firearm? And what happened to old-fashioned fights where two people would just fight? Nobody brought sharp objects. Nobody brought weapons, firearms. The boys would fight or the girls would fight. The teacher would come in, break up the fight. The friends would break up the fight. Everyone moves on with their life. I understand that. You see that every single day. Is it right? No, nobody should be fighting for it.
Yeah, it's not right. Nobody should be fighting. But unfortunately, we see it all the damn time. I mean, people catch a phase, somebody get their ass, or it gets posted on social media, whatever. And you just let it go. But some people just scared to take that ass whip, man. Some people scared to
We are following the
some people scared to get knocked out. Some people too afraid. They rather pull their weapon out. They ain't trying to catch that fade.
ongoing investigation into the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright. The Florence County Sheriff's Office said it's arrested 9 people so far. 2 posted bond earlier this afternoon. News 13 Shelby Martin is live in the newsroom. And Shelby, what can you tell us about these arrests?
Well, Edward, behind bars and without bond, Devon Raper was the first arrested for the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright after he was accused of shooting and killing the teen. On Tuesday, police charged 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, and 18-year-old Corinne Belviso with murder. Belviso and Kearns posted bond today. Gianna Kistenmacher, Trey's girlfriend, was the second person arrested. She's accused of leading Raper to Wright the night he died. The former cheerleader was released to home detention and cannot use the internet. We're told Belviso was also a member of Kistenmacher's cheerleading team. A close friend of Trey's told News 13 Belviso, Kearns, and Kendall were bystanders to the murder. Major Mike Nunn with the Florence County Sheriff's Office said the 9 people arrested in connection with Trey's death are all between the ages of 17 and 19 years old.
They were complicit in bringing the armed co-defendant Raper to the incident location, knowing that there would be a confrontation, and they knew that Raper had presented a firearm to the victim and made threats to shoot him, according to the arrest warrant.
Nunn said 1 more person is expected to turn themselves in within the next few days. Now, according to officials, the decision to charge most of those defendants with murder was not taken lightly.
So the decision was made, again, with investigators in consultation with the solicitor's office, to charge each of them with murder, the hand of one being the hand of all, as part of South Carolina law as well. So that's the basis of the charge for each of those individuals.
Nunn told News 13 there is video evidence from the night of Trey's murder. Now, we've asked for the video, but we were not able to get it. Raper's next court appearance is set for August 19th. Live in the newsroom, Shelby Martin, News 13.
You hear that? In South Carolina, the hand of one be the hand of all. That's basically saying, look, if you jump in that car with them and they go commit this unaliving, and y'all think y'all could just go home and lollygag and kick it and play PlayStation with each other and nothing's gonna happen, and we come find out about it, Oh, we charging all y'all with the hand of one be the hand of all. So you jumped in that car with them. It don't matter if you witnessed it. It don't matter if you filmed it. It don't matter if you participated in it. It don't matter if you did it. It don't matter in South Carolina and certain other spots too. I'm just saying in South Carolina, definitely, if you go do something and you're a part of a crime and they go find out on their own and that you didn't come tell them about it, I mean, even if you do come tell them, they still can charge you with it. But I'm just saying, if they got to find out this by themselves, everybody getting charged with the same crime. Look, we finna figure it out. I don't know who did what or what did. Forget it. All y'all going down for the same shit. So be careful the company you keep. Now your friends is the reason why your entire life is gone. Now you sitting in jail crying. Now you on bond crying. Let's keep it a buck.
9 teens were arrested in South Carolina for murder. Let's get into it. As always, I'm an attorney, but I'm not yours. And that's okay, because we can still get into these updates. The victim is 16-year-old Trey Wright, and he was found dead on June 24th by multiple fatal gunshot wounds. Another teenager, Devon Raper, was accused of shooting him. Now, he was arrested the following day after the incident happened. But officials eventually found out that he didn't act alone, and specifically it was like a group of them. Now, they're all charged with multiple different crimes, not murder, but they are charged relating to that incident. Let me show you the picture, child. Second to the left is Devon Raper. This is the one that shot Trey. And the reason he did that was allegedly over this one in the middle. Her name is Gianna, I think. That was Trey's girlfriend, the victim's girlfriend in this case. It was like a romantic dispute between them, which is why he was killed. Now, she was charged with accessory before the fact, meaning that she had a hand in planning the murder, instigating the murder, whatever the case is. Now, from the left, this is Corrine. This other guy is Hunter, and then this girl right here is Sydney. Although we don't know specifically what they've been charged with, they are being accused and charged with setting up this crime. So my likely guess is it's something that mimics her charge, like accessory after the fact, during, or before. The police report does talk about the remaining accused. It says that they were complicit in bringing the armed codependent, which is Rapper, the person that shot him, to the incident location, knowing that there would be a confrontation. Now, there are 4 other people who are not named. That is really because they're minors. Everyone else that they showed is over the age of 18. The other ones are likely still in high school. Now, at this time, this is all the information we know. When we know more, I'll be updating you. But in the meantime, let me know what you think.
Some 16-year-olds involved. Man, this is crazy work that all of these kids, like, just threw their life away. It's over. Life over.
This story is about 10 individuals, 5 charged as adults, 4 charged as youth, and 1 that has yet to turn himself in. This story takes place in Johnsonville, which is 45 miles northwest of Myrtle Beach. This is Trey Wright, age 17. He was described as a good kid that kept to himself. Now, this was the case until Gianna started acting different. Not messy or wild, just a bit off. She had people around her that didn't necessarily like Trey, like Devon Raper. Now, Devon was already a hothead in these streets, and he had something to prove. One day, Gianna asked Trey to meet up. He thought it was going to be a one-on-one thing. When he showed up, it was 10 other people there. At first, it was just an argument. Devon and Trey got into it, boom, boom. But then Devon tries to pull out a weapon. Trey didn't see it coming. His body was riddled with bullets before he can even respond. At around 11:30, they found Trey's body in the middle of the road. And when they started connecting dots, they did not stop at Devon. People started talking, the film got introduced into evidence, and they charged all 9 of them. Initially, it was murder, accessory before the fact, even the ones that didn't hold the weapon. Gianna's charges have been upgraded from accessory before the fact of felony to murder. But what doesn't sit right with me was the girlfriend Gianna. She was the one instrumental in all of this. She had her charges upgraded to murder, but she was released to her parents and now she's on house arrest. Whole time moral of the story is, smiles do not mean loyalty. Some people are just close enough to you to see where to stab.
Hold on. Say that last part again.
She's on house arrest. Whole time moral of the story is, smiles do not mean loyalty. Some people are just close enough to you to see where to stab.
You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it a big buck, man. You got to watch the company you keep, man. The person right next to you could be the one that's going to take your ass up out the game, man, or get you up out the way. You just got to be careful, man. You don't know who is who. You better stay prayed up. You don't know. You look to your left and look to your right. Somebody ain't for you, and you just ain't realized it yet. Yeah, man. That's crazy work.
Have y'all heard of this shooting of this 16-year-old, which was in Johnsonville, South Carolina? It happened in June, but as of recent, I think the last arrest was the girlfriend of the victim because she was involved. She's the one that actually set it up for the shooter to meet the victim. Now, this was besides the point, but none of these girls on this screen is worth going in the grave over.
Look, man, she didn't say it, sis. She said, look, ain't none of these girls, basically girls is ugly. Listen, what the hell y'all, come on, man.
Now, here's a little visual. So the guy to the left is the shooter. Gianna to the right is the girlfriend of the victim at the top, right? Gianna took Devon to go meet the victim. Now, Gianna was arrested because she knew that Devon, one, had a gun, two, that he had already threatened to shoot and kill the victim. So she already knew that he had the intention of going to shoot and kill that boy, that 16-year-old boy, a little boy. And she's 17. Girl, what you doing dating a 16-year-old anyway? And he's 19. Why are you fooling up with kids that's still in school, Devon? Look at them, Bonnie and Clyde in jail. And he's still in Florence County Detention Center with no bond, murder. He got murder charge and then possession of weapon during a violent crime. So they're not really saying now why what's all of the people involvement in the murder. But the other guy, the last one to the right, or the second last to the right, his name is Hunter Kendall with the little thing on his chin. His charge on the Florence County Detention Center website says murder too, but it only says murder. So I don't know why. I don't know if he maybe shot the gun too. What was his involvement? Because apparently there's a video as well. So one of the teenagers recorded it. Now this is only 3, 4, 5. This is only 5. So it's 4 more teenagers that were arrested, but they are minors. That's why their picture wasn't shown and their name's not released. So I'm wondering, was one of them maybe that recorded the video, or where they have the video at? Is it really a video of them shooting the guy? Or was they passing it around? That's crazy.
And I believe this guy right here, I believe that's the guy with the shotgun that shot 3 times. I believe you definitely, I think you was the dude with the shotgun that shot 3 times. I'm not saying you shot him, but you definitely was a part of that crime, brother.
So let me get this right. 10 teenagers have been charged. 10. Y'all have got to be kidding. The math is not mathing. So on June 24th, Trey Wright, who was 16 years old, had his life taken by a supposed friend. They have now arrested 10 people in connection with taking away his life. 10. And they are all teenagers. How does that happen? How do you say you friends with somebody, you associate with somebody, but y'all all orchestrate to help his life be ended? And one of the doggone 10 is his girlfriend. What? Baby, if your enemy is the one that you are with, you don't have no friends. How does somebody who is supposed to be your girlfriend help set up for somebody else to take your life? 19-year-old Devon Raper is the one that actually took his life, and the girlfriend led him to a very rural street called First Neck Road in Florence County in South Carolina. They get there and they instigate a fight between the two of them, knowing that he had a doggone weapon on him. He was ready to go. His motivation before they even got there was to take Trey's life. That seems very clear. But for your girlfriend to be the one that drove you to that location and then helped to instigate the situation to a point of an actual argument between the two of them, because it seems like they had a beef online about a girl that he wanted to be with that he couldn't be with. It might be the girlfriend. I'm still trying to figure it out. Because I had seen this story, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around how 10 people got involved. They even filmed the doggone incident. Why are y'all filming taking the life of somebody that y'all were considered to be friends with at one point? Now you are orchestrating and helping his life end. And he was only 16. You ending your life as well because y'all were all involved. And Trey's poor mama is very devastated because she was trying to be at all of these court hearings, these bond hearings, because she's absolutely confused how people who were supposed to be friends to her child decided to get together and help orchestrate the ending of his life. You know the old saying that said, if your friend jumped off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff? It's been buried. It needs to be brought back up, okay? Because if all of your friends are orchestrating and organizing and participating in the actual act of somebody's life being ended, are you joining in? again, y'all clearly said yes. Because it should have been one of y'all that said, this is not going to work. I'm not going to be a part of this. Y'all need to deal with this a different way. Then you having a weapon. He don't know you have a weapon. And he get here and he is not expecting to see this person. And all of a sudden you take out a doggone firearm and shoot him multiple times. One of y'all should have said, I'm not gonna be able to do it. At least one of y'all should have said, I'm not gonna be able to do it. All of y'all just follow suit and let that happen, huh? Now we got a 16-year-old Trey that should still be here, but he is not. Because none of y'all took the leadership role and said, this is not gonna work. No, we can't do this. Y'all just tell the leader.
Man, she said it. I mean, she said it best. Double tap that screen if you agree, man. Double tap that screen. So yeah, nobody decided while y'all was being like, hey, I'm finna go over there and smoke, buddy. Nobody was like, look, if I was in that damn car, I'd be like, hey, man, I would have pulled a Trey from Boys in the Hood, man. Hey, let me out the car, man. Hey, let me out the car. Open the door, but let me out. Now, I don't know what y'all finna go do. I am not finna, hell no, take me home, fam, or let me out right here before y'all even get to doing what the hell y'all got. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing, but I want to go home and play GTA or something. I want to go play NBA 2K. I want to get the hell up out of here. Y'all trying to play GTA in real life. I don't want to go on no mission and unalive nobody. Hell no, I'm gonna call the police, matter of fact.
9 South Carolina teenagers have been charged in an alleged plot to lure their 16-year-old friend to his death. Trey Wright was shot dead outside of Myrtle Beach back in June. This is after police say his girlfriend and others set him up.
The sheriff's office says this all stemmed from a romantic rivalry. Deputies found Wright lying in a roadway, struggling with multiple gunshot wounds, and he later died in the hospital. Now, authorities initially charged a 19-year-old with the murder, but in the following days and weeks, they started charging more and more teenagers. Devon Raper was the first person arrested. He's accused of pulling the trigger on Wright during an argument. And the next arrested was the victim's 17-year-old girlfriend, Gianna Kistenmacher. She's accused of bringing Raper to the scene, knowing he was armed and would likely kill her boyfriend. Now, prosecutors then filed more murder charges against 2 other 18-year-olds, 3 more 17-year-olds, and 2 unnamed minors. Now, all these kids' exact role in Wright's murder is unclear, but authorities say at least 1 teen recorded the killing. Wright's obituary says he was a rising high school sophomore, he was a proud varsity athlete, and a true outdoorsman, known for his infectious smile. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson is not directly involved in this case, but he says if convicted, all these kids changed their lives forever.
As a parent of teenagers myself, this is just devastating to hear. What I can say is that this case is anecdotal evidence of what we've seen, not just in South Carolina, but across the country. You're just seeing an alarming rise in teen-on-teen crime.
And at least 2 of the men charged remain in jail without bond, and at least 3 of the girls are out on bond. But authorities are reportedly expecting at least 1 more teenager to turn themselves in.
So how is it that the dudes, I mean, you just put the dudes, hey, no bond. Girls, y'all can come home. These girls didn't help set the whole play up, but they get to come home. You see how, hey, that's just how it is, man. And they the ones, if it wasn't for them, this would have never happened. That's the crazy part. I mean, look, yeah, you pulled the trigger and you definitely should not have done that. And that was wrong. But at the same time, this girl set the whole thing up and she back at home on house arrest. Crazy.
10 teenagers and 1 death. 1 well-loved and well-known teen died, and now 10 others will have their lives ruined too as a result of his awful death. I wanted to give you a quick update in the Trey Wright case that I've been covering since it happened. So, according to new reports, a 10th South Carolina teen is expected to surrender to police soon in connection to the awful murder plot of 16-year-old Trey Wright pictured here in the center. Officials are now saying that Trey was indeed lured to his death and that teens filmed him being shot and killed. Trey was shot and killed in June of this year. This was after his own girlfriend, Gianna Kistenmacher, allegedly set him up. She is the 3rd from the left in these photos. Now, I have had people message me saying they heard Gianna set him up and wanted to know why. At the time, I wasn't sure, but this is what I'm now seeing is being reported. She brought Trey to a very remote area. She lured him there. The area was reportedly off of a rural road in Florence County in South Carolina. There, in that remote area with Trey, it was said a group of teens were waiting on a showdown, and that showdown was going to be an altercation between Trey and and another male that his girlfriend Gianna was with at the time. At that location, Trey then encountered 19-year-old Devon Raper, who's pictured here second from the left. And Devon is now being accused of previously flashing a gun at Trey and threatening to shoot him in the past. I just found that out. The two of them then got into an argument over Trey's girlfriend, Gianna. It was stupid. It was said at least one person in the crowd started to film as Trey and Devon argued. They were even filming when Devon pulled the trigger on the gun several times and then struck and killed Trey. Devon was arrested the day after Trey's body was found on June 24th. And in the next few weeks after that, 8 other teenagers were charged for allegedly helping to set up Trey's murder. And as I just said, there is now a 10th teen suspect who is expected to turn themselves in to authorities soon. 10 teenagers. Devon was reportedly charged with homicide and possession of a weapon, and Trey's girlfriend Gianna was charged with accessory before the fact. It's being said that the other teens who were arrested clearly knew that Devon had a gun with him and that there was a strong chance of him pulling it out during that altercation he was planning to have with Trey. It was also said that Gianna deliberately and purposefully instigated that altercation between the two boys. I hate girls like that. Other suspects who are pictured here were charged, but the part they allegedly played in the murder of Trey is a bit unclear. 4 others were charged, but they're not pictured here, nor have they been named because they're minors. The sheriff's office has since said that the decision to charge so many teens in the murder was not at all taken lightly. They said the hand of one being the hand of all is part of South Carolina law, so that was the basis of the other teens' charges. They knew, and they did nothing to help Trey. In my opinion, they all deserve jail time, and Devon should spend the rest of his life behind bars. This isn't his first go around with the law either. My prayers still definitely go out to all of Trey's loved ones. For more updates into this case and other true crime news, make sure to follow and subscribe if you're ever on YouTube.
Man. So I don't know how to feel about that, because it's like certain cases you could see that they had a chance to go ahead and do something with this boy being Devon, and they dropped the ball on him, let him go free, and here he go again in another unaliving plot. And now he's supposed to be the one who pulled the trigger.
Welcome back to the Floating Head Chronicles. We have Trey Dean Wright, 16-year-old that was unalived out of South Carolina. I reported on this a couple times when it first happened, but now we have more to add to the story because we were trying to figure out things and it wasn't math. And what we did know is that his girlfriend was arrested as well as a 19-year-old kid, and this whole thing stemmed from rivalry over this girl. You know, they both were fighting over her. She intentionally dropped the location of where he was at, knowing that this kid had a pew and was going to bring it, and then he lost his life. But now 9 teenagers in South Carolina were arrested in a plot to lure Trey to his unaliving. The victim's girlfriend brought this upon, like I was telling y'all, and he suffered of multiple wounds. This is just crazy. The guy that got arrested that pulled the pew was Devon Scott Raper, 19, out of Conway, and he is held without bond right now. They're saying he didn't act alone. In the weeks since 8 other teens have been nabbed for their alleged roles of the dark scheme and are now facing charges. So if you look at from the pictures here, we have Corinne, we have Devon, that's the pewer, we have Gianna, that's the girlfriend, we have Hunter, and Sydney at the very end. Like all of you guys. Now, this is just crazy to me. Why didn't you just leave him? If you knew that this was going to happen, why would you want that upon anybody? There's nothing that Trey could have done that bad to make it so you were going to schedule his unaliving and watch it and record it. I just don't understand this. This is crazy. This is toxic as hell. So they listed it. Others in charge, 18-year-old, 2 of them are 18, 1's 17, and the other ones, they can't even list them because they are minors under the age of 17. You guys want to ruin your life? They brought him there. They knew that this was going to happen. They were all showed up at this location, knew that there was going to be a confrontation, and video recorded it all. Now, the girlfriend is being charged with accessory before the fact because she brought him there armed, knowing that this was going to be a problem. All of these individuals knew that he had presented a pew and made threats to do this. what? Why would you want to go there and record? Like, in general, it's not a fist fight. Like, this wasn't going to be fair. You knew that there was going to be, you guys were signing up. So yeah, you're equally as guilty as that. I really hope that karma comes swift for these people. We have to wait for the hearing and find out what's going on in the trial that's going to ensue after that. But like, what? Like, all of you threw away your lives and took a life of a 16-year-old. Like, life hadn't even started. There were so many fish in the sea. That wouldn't have been your first nor your last girlfriend. Like, there's so many other things that could have happened here. And I'm like, who's the parents? Like, why is this happening? What is going on? Like,
And that's what I've been at. Where the hell is the parents at? And what made you think that taking somebody like that? You thought a girl was, come on, fam. A girl, dude, nobody is worth that. Like, you're 17, 18, 19 years old. There's going to be a lot more where that came from. Trust me. If this is how you acting over Heartbreak, man, you better not grow up. Because, yeah. But now, I mean, you finna have to go get you a prison boyfriend now. Or a prison wife or whatever. But yeah, that's a story for another day.
this world is crazy. Now, the sad thing is you got a 16-year-old that lost his life. You got a 19-year-old who's going to be in jail the rest of his life over what? This is wild. He is being charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime and is held without bond. Girlfriend's also being held without bond, and these other individuals were able to get bonded out. But Trey, I stand with all of the moms here that we're sorry this happened to you. I think this was the stupidest thing for somebody to lose their life over a girl. A girl wasn't even worth it. Clearly, she was just over here doing the most. And this guy, everybody says amazing things about him. Like if you've ever gone down the TikTok rabbit hole on Trey, he was well loved. He had a great amount of people that just genuinely really cared for him. He was the life of the party type guy and did not deserve this. So justice for Trey. And my heart goes out to the families and everybody impacted, even the families of the people that are being held responsible. I'm sure nobody wants their child to do something like this, and it affects everybody, right? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know, and I hope you guys have a beautiful night.
So what y'all think about this, man? Do y'all think that these kids deserve life? Do y'all think that they deserve a second chance? What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do these kids deserve another chance to get it right, man? Do y'all want to see these kids come back home, or y'all think that they just, hey, man, you did that, you just got to pay for the rest of your life? What you think?
Suspects bond hearings took place yesterday before a circuit court judge in Marion County. Tonight, they're all out of jail on bond, and that's what has a number of people very upset. Deputies charged this week 17-year-old Sidney Kearns and 18-year-old Kareem Belvizo, along with two other teens, with murder in the death of 16-year-old Trey Wright. Wright was shot to death in June on North First Neck Road in the Johnsonville community. Investigators say 19-year-old Devon Raper shot Wright after a verbal altercation. Florence County Sheriff's Major Michael Nunn says the suspects brought Raper to the incident location.
These individuals were complicit in bringing Devon Scott Raper to First Neck Road near Johnsonville, knowing that Raper was armed with a firearm and intended to engage in a confrontation with the deceased victim.
I talked with Belvizo's lawyer, who said she had nothing to do with Wright's murder and shouldn't be charged at all.
It's really simple. She's not guilty of anything. We've hashed through the stories. She's talked with the police. I'm shocked she was charged. And I will defend this case with every breath I have. She's not guilty of anything.
Major Nunn says the case has been thoroughly investigated. Kearns and Belvizo, along with two others, are out of jail on a $20,000 bond just 2 days after being charged with murder. A circuit court judge granted the bond during a hearing Tuesday, held partially, virtually, and in open court in Marion County.
$20,000 bond for unaliving. $20,000.
I got copies of the bond order laying out the terms, only allowing the suspects to leave their houses to go to school, church, work, hospital, or to meet with their attorneys. Some question why the suspects got bond on a murder charge when it's typically denied. I reached out to the 12th Circuit Solicitor's Office for answers. A deputy solicitor sent me a statement saying, quote, due to the young age of the defendant, 17, the lack of any criminal record, and their level of involvement in the crimes for which they have been charged, the state could not point to facts which indicated either defendant was a flight risk or danger to the community. However, the state did not consent to the setting of bond regarding either defendant.
What you mean they're not a danger to the community? They just unalived somebody from the community and planned it out together.
Trey Wright's mother tells me that she is going to get justice for her son, even if it takes everything that she's got to do it. Live in Florence, Tanya Brown, ABC 15 News.
Tanya, thank you. Officers say they have an outstanding warrant to serve in the case and expect the suspect to turn himself in. We'll let you know of any new developments in the investigation.
Man. That's crazy. That is crazy work right there.
If you have parents that are constantly asking you where you're going, who you're going with, I don't know that person, I need to know the parents, text me when you're there and text me when you leave, it's because of people like this. Right now, there are 9 people currently being charged with taking the life of Trey Wright, their supposed friend. That's right, this is another episode of That Ain't Your Friend. Before I jump into the details, I do want to say major trigger warning. This is Trey Wright, and at just 16 years old, they found him on June 24th with multiple gunshot wounds on the side of a country road in South Carolina. They started investigating and they realized that the gunman is Devon Raper. Devon Raper actually has a TikTok page, and according to Law and Crime, when they started investigating that TikTok page, they realized that he always tried to kind of act like a bad boy. But they followed each other. So what could have been the discord? This is Trey's girlfriend, Kristen Mocker, and according to reports, she knew that there was a rivalry between Trey and Devon, yet she still drove Devon to meet Wright on the night of his murder, knowing that Devon Raper was actually armed. Now, initially, she was only charged with accessory before the fact, and she was denied bond. However, they upped her charges. She's now facing a charge of murder in connection to the death of Trey, but she's out on bond. They are stating, though, that while she is out on bond, she's out on extremely strict regulations or rules. Now, Devon, on the other hand, the one that pulled the trigger, is actually being held without bond. Let's look at how he reacted at his bond hearing when they denied him.
I think none of it. There was 4 more people.
I'm not here to try.
I understand that.
I'm not here to try your case, but you can speak to law enforcement and you can also. They're nervous.
Now, as you can see, Devon was extremely upset because, well, they didn't let him out on bond. And as he reminded the judge, there's 4 other people. Unfortunately, during a bond hearing, it's not time to try the case. That didn't help him any. Now, they did bring up on Law and Crime the fact that he was arrested in past August for being an accessory to a felony, specifically murder. And they did state, however, they let him out on bond, and the charges were then dropped in February of this year. So they are saying that could be a possibility as to why he did not get any bond. Now, let's talk about the additional 3 that were arrested. Right here, we have Karen Belizzo, Hunter Kendall, who's in the corner, and then Sydney Carnes, the blonde. They are saying that Belizzo and the girlfriend were actually on the same cheerleading team in Myrtle Beach. Arrest warrants show that all 3 of them are being charged with murder. Belizzo here posted something interesting on Facebook shortly thereafter Trey's death. Let's read it together. They made a GoFundMe to help Trey's family. If you're able to donate, anything will help. Trey was one of my friends. We are heartbroken. To know him is to love him. LLT, I believe it says long live Trey is what they mean. I'm not very sure about that. But of course, this was brought up in multiple discussions as she is sharing this on Facebook to try to help him get additional funds for his family. Now, her attorney has made it very clear that she is talking to police and that frankly, he is in shock that in any case, she has even been arrested with the lack of evidence that they have. And her attorney stated that he will defend her this entire case with every breath that he has. Now, what's interesting about all of this is that they are stating that when this all happened, there was an altercation. And that in that altercation, Devon Raper essentially pulled out his gun and shot Trey multiple times. They stated that the girlfriend lured him there along with the friends, they all knew that essentially this was going to happen, and supposedly it was caught on video. And that in that video, it apparently shows that all of these people stood around and watched this happen as if they knew that this was going to happen. 4 more people were arrested, making it a total of 9. They have not released the names, they have not released their pictures, and they have not stated how they are also complicit unless they were involved as well, standing around, looking at everything happening and not saying anything. What are your thoughts on this? But I hope you all now understand that this is why parents are constantly worried about who their kids are hanging out with. Because I guarantee you his family thought that girlfriend and all of their friends were good people around their son. Talk to you soon.
What about y'all? Do y'all ask y'all kids, hey, where you going? Who you going with? I want to know where the mama's at. I want to know.
Tonight,
do y'all treat your kids like that? Let me know in the chat. Do y'all tell your kids, yo, tell me where you going? I want to know. Let me know in the chat, man.
the first time the grandmother of 16-year-old Trey Wright is speaking out after his murder. Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Edward Moody.
And I'm Trish Willover. The Johnsonville teen was shot and killed on June 24th.
New at 11, News 13's Shelby Martin spoke with the grandmother, who says she's demanding justice for Trey.
Instead of watching her 16-year-old grandson play football, Catherine Lee is attending bond hearings for those arrested for his murder. Instead of meeting his teachers, she's talking to solicitors. Lee says her family's life will never be the same.
This is killing me. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't keep anything in my stomach.
Trey's family and friends described him as kind, energetic, and a friend to many. The Johnsonville high school student was shot and killed on July 24th.
I cannot stand waking up not to talk to him, not to look at his picture as he gets older, not watching him go through school, not watching him graduate, getting married, having me a great-grandchild, a little Trey.
9 people are charged in connection with Trey's murder. 19-year-old Devon Raper, who authorities say shot and killed the teen, was the first. The second was 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher, Trey's then-girlfriend, who allegedly led Raper to her boyfriend's location the night of the murder. She's out of jail on home detention. Police also arrested 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, 18-year-old Corinne Belviso, 18-year-old Jaden O'Clair, and 17-year-old Brylan Thompson, who all face murder charges. Belviso and Kearns are out on bond.
It's not fair. It's not fair for those kids to be out and about whenever we are never going to see my baby again. My baby Trey. Never again.
Lawyer Tommy Britton represents Belviso and claims his client is innocent.
She's tiny, she's quiet, she's humble. She had nothing to do with this shooting. She had nothing to do to promote it. It had nothing to do with it happening. And she shouldn't have been charged with murder.
Though Britton described her as quiet, neighbors told News 13 they've had issues with Belviso and her family, both in person and online, some over loud house parties. Warrants say Kistenmacher, Belviso, and the other teens knew Raper was armed and had made threats to shoot Trey. Britton said Belviso has video of the shooting.
On the Key series, hand of one, hand of all. And look, she was an innocent bystander who recorded it, period. Does that make her guilty of murder? Absolutely not.
Absolutely it does. Yes, it does. She was an innocent bystander that filmed the unaliving that they planned on doing. She knew about it. And then after the fact that it happened, she didn't turn it over to police. So don't try to be coming in, oh, she's cooperating now. She's only cooperating because they got caught.
She has essentially done is provide the best evidence of the circumstances of this shooting.
He
said that she came through with all the evidence. She only presented the evidence because they got caught up. She had no choice but to show them the evidence.
As everyone present should be held accountable.
If they were with him, if they drove from the beach, they were with him and they are accessory. I don't care what anybody says.
Britton couldn't comment on Belviso's relationship with Kistenmacher, But online records show the two girls were on the same cheerleading team. In the newsroom, Shelby Martin, News 13.
Authorities also arrested two 16-year-olds in connection with the shooting. The Department of Juvenile Justice is handling their charges.
Man, that's crazy, man. That is crazy work.
We have new information on the teenage girl accused of orchestrating the murder of her boyfriend. Gianna Kistenmacher was a high school cheerleader. Now she's accused of murder. She's one of 9 teenagers accused of murder in the death of Trey Wright. And now we're hearing shocking allegations of how she acted allegedly on the night that Trey Wright was killed.
When she stepped away from people, she had this look on her face and I just really didn't understand it.
We'll dive into that, and we also talk about why 7 of the 9 teens charged with murder in this case are out on bond. We're on the case, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
What y'all think about that, man? They said that she was acting real strange that day. She was acting real strange.
Case on June 24th in small town, South Carolina. Since his death, Trey Wright's story has spread across the country, far from small town South Carolina, because partly there are 9 teenagers charged with murder. The person who's accused of firing the shot that killed Wright was someone who Wright considered a friend, we're told. But this girl, Gianna Kistenmacher, is the one who is perhaps the most shocking suspect in this case because she was Trey Wright's girlfriend. They had just started dating, but he really liked her.
Gianna and Trey had been dating, but I think they only were dating for a month, maybe 2 months. But he was getting to the point where he really did like her. It was different from any of the other girls he had been around. He actually wanted to go out his way and be with her. He put everything aside.
That's Jasmine Louderback. Trey was murdered outside her house. The shooting happened around 11:30 that night in Johnsonville, South Carolina. Jasmine told me she rushed to Trey's side and comforted him as he gasped for air, as her dad and a police officer tried to treat him before he was brought to the hospital where he died. Jasmine told us that most of the teens charged in this murder were acquaintances of Trey, but 2 of the 9 teenagers were people who Trey knew. You had Gianna Kistenmacher and Devon Raper. Now, Trey and Devon followed each other on TikTok, and Jasmine said that they had just started hanging out. They would go to Myrtle Beach to go to truck shows there, and Trey actually considered Devon Raper a friend. Police say it was Raper who fired the shots that ended Trey's life. He's still being held without bond in the Florence County Jail. The person who's accused of orchestrating Trey's murder is the high school cheerleader who he was really starting to like, we're told. Deputies say Gianna Kistenmacher brought Devon Raper to meet Trey Wright the night of his death, knowing that Raper was armed and that there was going to be a confrontation that, according to law enforcement, would lead to injury or death.
So like I said, they already knew that this was finna go down, man. Everybody that was attending, they only showed up because they knew that this boy was fixing to get busy with his gun, allegedly. Allegedly. Get the likes up, y'all. Double tap the screen. We should be past 500 likes. Let's go.
Law enforcement writes that Trey and Raper were at odds over a girl the night that Trey died, and there were provocative Snapchat messages leading up to the altercation. Trey's mom told the Daily Mail that her son met Gianna through Devon Raper, and another friend said that they believed that Gianna wanted the two to fight, that this was a love triangle. But on the night of Trey's murder, any desire to have a confrontation on Gianna's part was not apparent to those trying to help Trey Wright on scene. Louderback said she had just met Gianna as she rushed to help her friend. Had you ever met Gianna?
That night was the first time I'd ever met her.
And again, I know there's things that you can say and you can't say. I mean, but she was still on scene. I guess like you saw her there when you went outside.
Yes, sir. She was still on scene. She stayed on scene till he went into the hospital, and then she went to the hospital. But his mom and them didn't know anything till I got there, or the other kids got there to let her know what was going on, because I wasn't the person who could tell her that on the phone, and I was the one who called.
According to Louderback, Gianna was playing the role of the shocked and scared girlfriend, which, by the way, could be very true. She even went to the hospital to be with Trey as he fought for his life.
So after she didn't set the boy up, she went to the hospital to be by his side. That's crazy work. as you took the dude over there who did it and you knew he was gonna do it, and as soon as he did it and the police come, you act shocked and scared and went to the hospital to be by his side. Crazy.
That was a fight that he lost that night. When you first met her in that situation, like what was her body language? What did it seem like in that moment?
She kind of threw me off because she acted like know what was going on, like she was hurt. And then I don't know, she just, when she stepped away from people, she had this look on her face and I just really didn't understand it.
What was it, like a angry look, or what was it like?
She seemed like when she got in front of people, she was kind of freaking out like we were, but like when she walked away, she seemed calm. Like she called her parents, told her parents what was going on, and she was shaky in her voice, but she was still pretty calm on the phone with her parents.
And it kind of similar question as I asked with Devon, because, when it comes out that she's dating this person who passes away and loses their life in this terrible fashion, and then according to police, they said, she was the orchestrator of everything. Like, what was that like for you when her name first came up, you see her mugshot, and then you actually hear what the deputies who investigated say she did?
I just didn't really know what to say because Trey was the kind of person that everybody loved. Nobody really had anything that they didn't like about him. So I just didn't understand what made her do this. Because Trey's like, if you tell him you don't want to be with him, he's fine. He might be hurt for a little bit, but he'll go on with his life. It's not that big of a deal to me.
But Jasmine says she also saw something else that night in Gianna Kistenmacher. At first, the authorities charged Kistenmacher with accessory before the fact, but then her charge was upgraded to murder. Others who are also charged with murder in this case, and here are their mugshots. 2 of them are minors, and their names have not been released. Devon Raper and another suspect, Hunter Kendall, are the only 2 who have not been granted bond. Law enforcement have charged the others with similar wording as they have Kistenmacher in saying that they knew Devon Raper allegedly was armed the night that he allegedly killed Trey Wright, and they knew there was going to be a confrontation. An arrest report reads that when Trey Wright allegedly approached the car that Raper was allegedly in, Wright started banging on the window, and at that point, gunshots were fired. The report also said that someone in the car was wearing a ski mask. Before we get back to this episode of On the Case, which is one of the most watched shows.
They said that dude had a ski mask on. Trey came banging on the car, and that's how it went down.
Were granted $20,000 bonds, which may seem low for such a serious charge like murder. I asked South Carolina's civil rights and criminal defense attorney Tyler Bailey about that.
The first thing that went to my head was that this is kind of an unprecedented way to use the hands of one, hands of all jurisprudence, which is something that's used often in South Carolina involving gun crimes or possession of drugs, but I haven't seen it much with murder, especially when you have 9 young people. And it also appears to be a way for the local government and the sheriff's office to probably combat youth violence, looking at a way to send a message that, young people and kids, teenagers, school starting back, don't assist people who have firearms and are about to engage in an altercation, because you have 9 kids or young adults, some teenagers, some 18 or older, who actually helped the accused get to the victim, and the victim tragically lost his life. So it's really unprecedented on those fronts. And then the bail also seems to be low because these are serious allegations the kids or young people, let me rephrase that, are charged with, but the bond does not seem indicative of the seriousness of the crime, which leads me to believe that this could be a way or a tool to get them all involved in the case by law enforcement, and then possibly work out deals south from there.
Yeah, because it's from what we know.
So they finna plea out. Some of these kids better not take this to trial. Y'all are definitely gonna be guilty. Y'all better plea out for something lesser and just snitch on whoever did it. It's time. If you ever wanted a deal, right now is the time to get them 10s and 15s. And you can go ahead and get your ass up out of there. If you take it to trial, you're looking at getting 35, 40.
So several of the suspects have been released on $20,000 bonds. The man, Devon Raper, who was accused of firing the shots, he is still being held without bond. What will prosecutors have to prove in these cases of the associates of the person they say fired the shots? What will they need to prove if they were to take these to trial?
They'll need to prove that the associates knew that the accused was going to the location with the intent to commit murder of somebody. And they're using the fact that they assisted him. They knew that he had a weapon and he knew he was going to the altercation, but they're going to need to prove there was intent on the front of the associates that this was going to occur, which is tough. You know, providing assistance, accessory before the fact of the crime is easier to prove than it is actually that they all participated in the murder with the intent, knowing that the accused was going to go there and he was going to commit a murder by shooting the victim who tragically lost his life. And that's a steep hurdle for the prosecution to make here.
Because Gianna Kirstenmacher, who is reportedly the girlfriend of the victim, and she was the first co-suspect with Devon Raper who was arrested, and it was believed that she was the one, according to law enforcement, who orchestrated this, knowing that the two of them were at odds, that Devon Raper was armed, and that she was bringing Devon Raper to meet Trey Wright, and then it ends in sadly, Trey Wright's death. And originally she was charged with accessory before the fact, and now she is facing a charge of murder. What is the difference between the two?
Accessory before the fact means that they provided assistance to the defendant or the accused here to further his ability to commit the crime. Accessory after the fact is when they provide assistance afterwards with knowledge. But accessory before the fact means that she knew that he was going to go there and he wanted to, use his firearm to engage in murder, attempted murder, or something like that. And she helped him do it by orchestrating the whole thing. Murder, which is a lot of a steeper hurdle, means that she went there and actually helped him commit the murder. It's a little difference. It's a legal distinction.
Now, you heard Tyler say,
well, she definitely got it upgraded to the M word, so she did something over there that definitely led them to charge her with the same thing they charged him with.
Hand of one, hand of all. That stems from a 1988 South Carolina Supreme Court case that decided if a crime is committed by two or more people who are acting together in the commission of a crime, then the actions of one person is the act of the others involved. As far as the bonds, there has been criticism for how many suspects were not just allowed bond, but such low bonds. And this picture certainly has made that criticism louder. These are two of the newest suspects that we've learned about who have been charged with murder in this case.
Boy, when y'all go to prison, I'm telling y'all gonna get the rudest awakening in life. Them boys they finna be waiting on y'all in the lunch line.
17-year-old Braylon Thompson and 17-year-old Jaden O'Clair. Both were granted $20,000 bonds, and court records show that they posted bond on the same day. That was August 6th. And then we found this picture of a Snapchat post allegedly made by Thompson of him and O'Clair outside of the Florence County Detention Center. It shows the two of them posing. O'Clair seems to be throwing up a peace sign, and Thompson has a finger in his mouth, showing his teeth like he has a grill. Now, the caption to this picture was, "I'm free," and then a racial slur that I will not say, but I will tell you it begins with the letter N.
So this dude said, "I'm free, ninja." I'm free, ninja. He came out dropping N-bombs. Look, these dudes don't give a damn about nothing. They don't got no regard for shit.
I reached out to the Florence County Sheriff to see if they were aware of this post, and they told me they were. It's unclear what led to Thompson and O'Clair's charges in this case. The prosecutor told a local television station, WPDE, that once they were made aware of that Snapchat post, they filed a motion to modify bond conditions to prevent any more social media posts by the suspects. In the statement, they did not mention Thompson and O'Clair by name. Social media has played a big part in this story, not only because it shows that Raper and Wright knew each other and that there were provocative Snapchats allegedly sent the night of Trey's murder, and that played a role allegedly in this confrontation with Devon Raper, but also...
Now, hell no, they're not going to survive in prison. I'm talking about it's going to be within the first couple days. They going to definitely be somebody's wife. They gonna be somebody's wife in about 2 or 3 days once they touch down.
After the murder of Trey Wright, we found a social media post of Corinne Belviso. She is now facing a charge of murder. On June 25th, that is the day after Trey Wright was killed, this is what she posted. It's a link to the GoFundMe page for Trey Wright saying, quote, "They've made a GoFundMe to help Trey's family. If you're able to donate, anything will help. Trey was one of my friends. We're heartbroken. To know him was to love him.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be washing drawers. They're gonna be washing somebody's underwear. Trust me. They're gonna be a personal underwear washer.
LLT, and that stands for Long Live Trey, which has been the battle cry of those remembering him and calling for justice for his death. Belviso's lawyer told WPDE that his client is innocent. He said, quote, "It's really simple. She's not guilty of anything. We've hashed through stories. She's talked with the police. I'm shocked she was charged, and I will defend this case with every breath I have. She's not guilty of anything." Now, we'll see how the legal process will play out in this case. It's a case that in many ways is unprecedented, as you heard Tyler Bailey say, because of how many people are charged and the way this case has been charged. Law enforcement said that they did not take charging so many people with murder lightly. But at the end of the day, this is also a story about a young man who is loved by so many people who is now dead, who had his entire life ahead of him, and that was taken away. Here's our full interview with Jasmine Louderback, the girl who said she rushed to Trey's side the night of his murder, and she lost someone who she considered a brother.
It's crazy work, man, what they did to this kid, man. And it's like it's not a lesson hasn't even been learned. As soon as the boys got out, they back posting on social media taunting, and this is just like, bro, this is the society we live in. This is the environment you're raising your kids in, bro. This is what they know.
Jasmine, how did you know Trey Wright?
Trey started off as just a family friend from the neighbors next door, but then he was over at our house almost every day, so he quickly became family, and he was like a little brother to me.
And was he living with you at the time that everything happened?
At the time, he was staying with me, but he did not live with me.
Okay. And I know that it isn't easy to talk about, but can you explain what you saw the night that he lost his life?
As soon as I came out the doors, he was already lying in the middle of the road. My dad was over talking to him. He wasn't really performing CPR because he had seen that Trey got shot kind of where his lungs were. So he was just compressing his chest so that Trey would be able to breathe. And the officer was standing right beside my dad.
What were you doing in that moment?
In that moment, all I could do was just go to Trey's side, but I had to kind of tell him that he was okay and everything was going to be okay, that he didn't need to try and say anything. He just needed to try and breathe and stay awake for us.
What was going through your mind in that's such a difficult situation to be in. How did you handle all that?
In the moment, it was really just an adrenaline rush that helped me handle it because I didn't want to see him like that, but I couldn't make myself get away from him. I knew that he had my dad, but I knew he needed someone else. But I did eventually have to get away because I needed to figure out if somebody had done called his mom or his grandma or somebody to get them either out here with us or either to the hospital.
That's crazy. And she had to be the one to call. Y'all didn't set him up and left him there, and the girl stuck behind. You didn't call his girlfriend. Why you didn't call his mama? Crazy.
What do you remember about? I know all of this happened, I think, around 11:30, between 11:30 and midnight. What was Trey doing prior to that?
Prior to that, it was really just a normal day. The kids had went to the river right down the road from my house like they always do. They were just playing around, jumping off the bridge. They had came home. They were still goofing off in the yard, just hanging out.
Where did all of this happen?
All of this happened at my house.
So this is right, because I know I've seen pictures of the road and we have the address from police. What is that, for people who have never been there, what is that area like?
That area is really just everybody knows everybody. We're not blood, but we all consider each other family.
This is the area where he was unalived in, man. This is just this where they led him down this little road, and that's where he was taken out and they found him at.
Usually when people come down there, they feel safe because where I'm from, no matter whose kid it is, everybody's going to look out for them.
Was that like a hangout spot for people? Because I know, like, just based off of what we've been told by law enforcement, it just seems like there was a lot of people there.
That's just usually how my brother and them are. They have a lot of friends, and most of their friends, most of their friends' parents don't really let them go out like that. So my house was like a safe space for everybody. So usually my house was the hangout place for most of the kids.
When you say your brother, do you mean Trey?
Trey and my other little brother.
Other little brother.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about Trey Wright?
Trey was really just an amazing person. He wasn't really physical. He never really argued like that. He was just a goofball.
Yeah, and it seemed.
And that's the GoFundMe for him, and this is the one that they ended up sharing. But yeah, I believe they did end up reaching their goals that they were going for. I believe they got way past their goal, but rightfully so. His family deserves everything, but these kids, man, with friends like that, you do not need enemies, man. With friends like that, your enemies ain't far behind.
It's like just from the pictures, and we see a lot of outpouring of support on social media from people who met him, that he seems like in a lot of ways just such a life of the party type person. I know
he really
it's not,
was.
yeah, I mean, I guess for you, like, you've been through a lot, not only with Trey, but I mean, what you've experienced at such a young age, like, how have you handled the last several weeks?
It's really just been mostly a blur. I take it day by day because I'm used to being around Trey every single day. He considered me his sister too, so we just had that bond. He would pick on me, I would pick on him. And now that he's not here, it's just kind of like dull.
What did you know about, I know the name Gianna is one that's come up, and he was apparently dating her, from what I've read. I mean, what was their relationship?
Gianna and Trey had been dating, but I think they only were dating like for a month, maybe 2 months. But he was getting to the point where he really did like her. It was different from any of the other girls he had been around. He actually wanted to go out his way and be with her. He put everything aside.
Because there's so many people that have been charged in connection to his death, I mean, are these people he knew? Or, like, what was the relationship with all these people who had come together?
I feel like the only two people he really knew like that were Devon and Gianna, and even those people, he had just started hanging out with Devon in the springtime.
So he just really met all these motherfuckers. He don't know none of these people from a can of paint. He just thought they was cool and just decided to start kicking it. Yeah, that's why I don't do friends, man. Forget that friend stuff, man. I don't know about all that. I don't go nowhere with nobody. I don't trust nothing.
So they've only knew each other a couple months. And I just feel like most of those kids were just acquaintances. I've never heard their names from that night. Like, that night was the first time I'd ever heard most of those names.
What has it been like seeing those names, though? You see their mugshots. You see the charges that they're faced with, and you saw what happened that night, and you've lived it. What's it been like to just see all of those people and what police say they did?
It's just really crazy. Like, I don't understand how there's that many people around the situation and kind of have an idea what's about to happen, but don't tell their friend to, like, stop and think about this, or we don't need to do this. It's really insane to me.
Because he knew Devon Raper, did he ever say anything about him, or what was their relationship?
He never really said anything about him. They just hung out mostly. Trey liked to come to the beach a lot. He was into the truck shows and stuff, so Devon knew where to go, what to do. So they were really just friends through that. Devon had never came and hung out with Trey in Johnsonville or anything like that.
Wasn't homeboys at all. And it sounded like they really only knew each other because of this girl. And that's what I heard, that they met through the girl. That's how they met, and that's how it ended. That's how they met, and that's how it ended.
But they were, to your understanding, I mean, like, friendly with each other in some ways?
Yes, sir. I believe they were friends. I don't know what clicked that night or what went on that night to come about this, but it was never really bad blood between any of them.
What was the moment like for you when you were told that he was the one who deputies say did this to Trey?
I was mostly just in shock. Like, I didn't understand, because I figured it would be somebody who, you know, Trey had an altercation with or something, even though he never really argued with anybody. I didn't think it'd be someone who Trey was hanging out with constantly and going to the beach with.
Had you ever met Gianna?
That night was the first time I'd ever met her.
And again, I know there's things that you can say and you can't say. I mean, but she was still on scene. I guess like you saw her there when you went outside.
Yes, sir. She was still on scene. She stayed on scene till he went to the hospital, and then she went to the hospital. But his mom and them didn't know anything till I got there, or the other kids got there to let her know what was going on, because I wasn't the person who could tell her that on the phone, and I was the one who called.
And I know just from reading the police report, and I mean, you were there, that it sounds like it was a very like hectic scene, and there was just a lot of emotion and people screaming. I mean, when you first met her in that situation, like what was her body language? What did it seem like in that moment?
Salute to the certified one. I appreciate you for being a member for a year. This is your 1-year anniversary. Salute to you for being a member for a year. Y'all dropped them flowers for the certified one. Salute.
She kind of threw me off because she was acting like she didn't know what was going on, like she was hurt. And then, I don't know, she just, when she stepped away from people, she had this look on her face, and I just really didn't understand it.
What was like a angry look, or what was it like?
She seemed like, when she got in front of people, she was kind of freaking out like we were, but like when she walked away, she seemed calm. Like she called her parents, told her parents what was going on, and she was shaky in her voice, but she was still pretty calm on the phone with her parents.
And it kind of similar question as I asked with Devon, because, you know, when it comes out that she's dating this person who passes away and loses their life in this terrible fashion, and then according to police, they said, you know, she was the orchestrator of everything. Like, what was that like for you when her name first came up, you see her mugshot, and then you actually hear what the deputies who investigated say she did?
I just didn't really know what to say, because Trey was the kind of person that everybody loved. Nobody really had anything that they didn't like about him. So I just didn't understand what made her do this. Because Trey's like, if you tell him you don't want to be with him, he's fine. He might be hurt for a little bit, but he'll go on with his life. It's not that big of a deal to him.
And I know there's been a lot of, at least outside of your community, questions about the bond, because 7 of the 9 suspects are out on bond. What has been some of the reaction? I mean, your family, friends, I mean, some of these suspects, and I actually believe all 7 out on bond, it's a $20,000 bond, which isn't incredibly high for someone who's charged with murder.
We're mostly angry because they did get out on bond. They all helped in some type of way. And we just don't understand how they could get a bond when they're all charged with murder.
We have that picture of Braylon Thompson and Jaden Auclair outside the Florence County Detention Center. We reached out to law enforcement. They said they were aware of this picture. If you've seen that, what was your reaction when you saw them posing?
I still can't believe that their parents or whoever gave them the okay, like who picked y'all up from the police department, who thought it was a good idea for y'all to stop and take a picture right in front of the police station. Like that's what I'm saying. That's the generation we in though. Like what would possess anybody to get out of jail on a unaliving charge, go in front of the station and start clout chasing immediately? Like you ain't even got 2 feet out the door yet and you already clout chasing.
Knowing what they're accused of.
I feel like they think it's funny. They don't feel no sympathy or remorse. And they know that they got away with a slap on the wrist right now. So I just think they think it's a joke.
And I don't know if you also saw, I think it was Corinne Belviso. She had posted the GoFundMe for Trey Wright on her Facebook page a couple days after. If you had seen that, and she's now charged as well and was let out on bond. What was your reaction when you saw that?
I kind of figured it was going to happen because Corinne was trying to talk to me that night, but I had already figured out what happened, so I didn't want to hear anything from her. And she was like, I just rode here, I didn't do anything. I didn't believe it, not one bit, and I still don't believe it to this day. And then she tried to tell me that I didn't need to watch Trey get taken away in the ambulance. But I had already seen him shot and on the ground, so what's the ambulance gonna do?
And for you, I mean, to come out and speak about this, I know this isn't easy. Like, and I know you've done a couple other interviews, your family is speaking. Why is it important for you to speak about Trey Wright?
I just want his story to get out there. I don't want them to get away with what they did. I just don't want this to go unheard because with today's world, it's really bad with teens getting shot and teens killing teens.
Salute, Honey Trap. Thank you for the $10, Honey Trap. Salute, salute, salute. I appreciate you.
What is it about? Because that's the thing for me on the outside. You know, seeing the Snapchat, seeing, I know Devon Raper, there's a picture of him holding a gun and like flashing it to the camera. And you have this terrible scene, and for them, they could go to prison for a long time as well. And they're just, it seems like, how is it that these people do not seem to at least take the allegations seriously, at least from what we've seen from these social media posts?
I truly don't understand it because they all know what part they had in it. And most of them, Devon was calling a mutual friend of Trey's and basically laughing before he got arrested, saying that the cops weren't coming to get him, and basically just taunting us and harassing us on the phone.
And even you were harassed on the phone by Devon?
He didn't physically say anything to me, but it was a group of our family and Trey's friends that crowded around the phone to hear what Devon had to say, because he had tried to say that he didn't do anything.
Is there anything I missed or anything you'd want people to know as now there is just so much attention on this story?
I just really hope people learn that this is not the way that they need to go about things. I don't agree with violence at all. I really feel like most situations could just be talked out instead of having to get physical or violent.
Yeah, and again, Trey Wright just seemed like a great guy, someone that you'd want to be friends with. Jasmine, I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for talking with us. Again, I know this isn't easy, but we really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
That will do it for On the...
So what y'all think about that, man? What y'all think about that crazy ass story, man? That, yeah, you learn everybody ain't your friends real quick. You learn about all your friends real quick. Hold on. So yeah, you learn that everybody ain't your friend, and your mama tell you at a young age, like, hey man, look, that is not your friend. Stay away from all these people. Whoop-de whoop-de-whoop. Stop being around these people. Whatever. Shit. I used to think my mama was full of crap when she used to tell me that. Be like, hey man, look, that is not your friend. Stop hanging around him. Stop hanging around him. That's your real homeboy. And lo and behold, my mama was right. The homeboy she told me was my homeboy. Still my homeboy today. And everybody she told me that wasn't my friend, they not around no more. So that's just the way it goes, man. Your mama be knowing best, and a lot of us don't even listen to our parents because a lot of y'all don't listen to your parents. You should, though. You should listen to obey your parents, man. They really be on point. Now look at you. You're a parent, and you telling your kids shit, and your kids don't want to listen to you, thinking you don't know what the hell you talking about, but you done been there and done that, and you really could lead by example, but you know, these kids don't be trying to listen to that shit no more, man. You know, these kids, they think they know every damn thing. So, I don't know, man. It's a tough-ass world we living in, man. Y'all see that them kids were that boy's enemy. And that was his downfall. He should have never been hanging out with none of them damn people. But, you know, you live and you learn. Or, you know what I'm saying, you don't get a chance to live and learn. And unfortunately for Mr. Trey, he does not get to live to learn his lesson. He just, it's over for him. And those kids should all get life. They all should be charged with the unaliving of that little boy. And prayers up to the family, prayers up to everybody that was affected by that situation, man. That was just sad and unfortunate. And that's just a sad way for him to go out. So, you know me, I'm always using my platform to cover stuff that nobody want to talk about. I definitely will keep my eye on that situation. I would like to see if that goes to trial, and if it does go to trial, how that shit plays out. I would love to see how that plays out in the trial. Yeah, you give me y'all thoughts on it, man. That was a crazy ass story out of South Carolina, and I just thought it would be dope to talk about. They said they think they grown, don't have to listen, but they will learn the lesson. Yep, you gonna learn your lesson. Which your mom used to say, she used to tell me a hard head will make a soft ass. I never knew what that meant until I was grown. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? You made that bed, now you gotta lay in it. What the fuck is you? What is all these riddles? I didn't know what the hell she was talking about then, but now I know exactly what she meant. My mom was on point about everything she was trying to teach me, but she like, you gonna bump your head, you gonna learn on your own. All right, go ahead. You think you know everything, go ahead. She said, you made your bed. Yep, there you go, XOXO. I said, yeah, that was a wild story. Yeah, that was a crazy story, but like I said, you find out quick, everybody ain't your friend, man. And sometimes it's better to just be a loner. Sometimes it's better to just be alone. You don't always gotta have the company of somebody else. You gotta learn how to grow and learn how to, you know what I'm saying, be with yourself. Learn how to love yourself. A lot of people don't even love themselves, let alone be able to love anybody else. A lot of people still got real issues up here, and a lot of people push their issues off on other people. That's because you haven't even learned to deal with yourself yet. You got to learn who you are. If you don't know who you are as a person, it's going to be impossible for you to heal. You can't heal and love somebody at the same time. I'm sorry, you just can't do that. Look, you got to go to somebody when you are healed. If you're not, then you're going to carry that same trauma into another situation, and it's just going to all go to shit. And you got to heal yourself before you can love and appreciate anybody else. That's just some game for y'all, man. You think you can heal while you with somebody? That's not the case. You got to go heal and learn yourself. Until you learn to love yourself, it's impossible to lose yourself. So go find out who the fuck you are. And stop living for social media. Stop putting your business on social media. Stay the fuck off social media, man. The stuff is satanic. Social media is the devil, man. I tell y'all that all the time. Social media is the damn devil. Stop being on social media and living for social media so much. I promise you, man, look, if you want to learn who I am, dead ass, social media will probably, well, not probably, the last place for you to go figure out who I am would be my social media. Like, you would absolutely learn nothing about me by looking at my social media, because I don't post a motherfucking thing about myself on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's straight up. If you go comb through my social media right now, go to my Facebook, go to my Instagram, go to my TikTok, tell me what I do personal on that shit. I don't do nothing personal. I might pop out and give some content with my face on it. I don't post when I be out to eat. I don't post when I go to the movies. I don't post when I'm going grocery shopping. I don't post. You might see my dogs. The most personal you'll get is to see me around my dogs. That'd be about it, though. Other than that, nah. Your boy Big Ratchet be chilling. I be kicking it, man. Your boy Big Ratchet be chilling. I be kicking it. And you'll never know nothing about me, man. I don't talk about my personal life, bro, on social media. I like to keep my personal life personal and my social media presence strictly content. Unless I just pop out and just talk to my people. But I'm talking directly to my subscribers, my family out here. So, yeah, what we got here, man? Somebody dropped the super chat. Salute to Lil Hold on, let me plug my damn charger in. Hold on, my phone's gonna die. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Salute to Lil Pretty. I appreciate that $5. Salute to Lil Pretty. Thank you so much. Salute. We made $50, man. We 50 away from a honey bun. It's all good. I ain't doing no tripping it's the first of the month. I guess y'all have to pay rent today. It's all good, man. Look, everybody had to come up off some money today. So, hey, it's all love. But, yeah, make sure y'all double tap the screen if anything. If you can't donate, just double tap the screen. So, yeah, man, this is a crazy ass story, man. Good night. Put them on Blast TV. Salute Candy. Hit me up. Yeah, y'all already know, man. We definitely gonna keep our eyes on this situation as well as we're gonna get back to some other content. We're gonna be all around the place. We're gonna be covering a lot more crazy stories like this. I wanted to start touching on anything, bro. It don't gotta be the same stuff every night, man. Just we're gonna be everywhere we want to be. So make sure you double tap the screen. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We need like 10 subscribers to get to 192K. We're kind of slow on the last little couple to get there, but hey, if you subscribe to the channel, it's all good, man. We like 15 away. We like 15 subscribers away from 192K. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you got your notification bell turned on to all notifications. Make sure everybody who liked the content get in the comment section when this live ends. And we'll be back tomorrow night, man. Same time, same place. This your boy Big Ratchet. That's Ratchet Gang. And this is Ratchet TV. Until the next episode, I'm out, gang. I love y'all more than y'all will ever know, man. Get into the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this live, man. I'm gone. I love y'all, gang. Salute.